right in front of me. All right. Didn't even see it. So give me a minute, folks. I gotta get all of the other um, platforms going. We'll be up in a minute. We're only gonna. I'm not where I normally am, so you'll probably hear the difference in audio and things like that. But I'm gonna see if I can make this work from our location. So give me a second to get the last platform up and running, and we're gonna try to have a live on location this time. Okay, so uh, let's see if we can get this last one going. So we're just gonna do it on YouTube and um, TikTok today. Don't have all my cameras. Not in the. I'm not in my makeshift studio. Good evening, there. I think this is Jalen. Appreciate you tuning in. So give me a minute, folks. But this is going to be a little bit different because I'm not. I'm on. I'm out in this. I'm out hundreds of miles away from home. You'll hear me talking about that in a minute. But I'm not in my. I'm not even in my own state right now. So let me just get everything going here. We're coming from the volunteer state, if you know where that is. Let's see here. I'm almost done, and we should be able to get up and running momentarily. But we're going to be talking about, actually, got three topics, believe it or not, even though you guys got me really vulnerable today because I'm not going to have my laptop and all of this other shit to be able to fact check. So if somebody says something that's wild or outrageous, ain't a lot I can do about it because I can't fact check. I don't have my own equipment. Let me make sure I'm on Wi-Fi, which I believe we are. Yeah. So having said that, we'll go live in. Let me see if I can get this last platform going. Go live in three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm sure I don't sound the best. Damn it, I might not even look the best. But I am on location. I'm not where I normally am, so to speak. And it looks like my one of my devices is giving me trouble here trying to start the live. So we'll go ahead and make do with what we got. But we are on location here in the volunteer state. So I'm down in Tennessee. Just happen to be at an Airbnb, so I'm in somebody's home doing this. But I will say real quick before we start, like I said, you guys got me in the most vulnerable state. I don't have any backup, so I don't have any. I don't have my screen behind me. I don't have my computer in front of me. So some of you guys say some wild shit. There's no way for me to prove you're wrong or right. So this may work for the guests more than it may work for the host. So we're going to talk about that. Franklin says, how are the egg prices and gas prices out there in Tennessee compared to where you're from? Better. They're better. In fact, I just did a video I haven't posted yet. The price of the cheap gas, what is it, 87 octane or whatever the hell it is, $2 and I think it was either 2.49 a gallon or 2.59 a gallon. That's not bad. Now, it's not the $1.98 that Trump bragged about a few months ago, but Trump's going to say what Trump's going to say. Trump often brags and overdoes it, but the fact is the price of fuel under Trump is not bad. It is absolutely not bad. Price of groceries, different. The price of groceries are different. The price of groceries under Trump is not good. So the price of gas is not bad. The price of groceries is not good. But you haven't heard President Trump. I think the proof is in the pudding. You haven't heard President Trump boasting about the price of groceries. So that's pretty clear that he knows the price of groceries is not good because you haven't heard him even talking about the price of groceries. Anyway, what I want to talk to you guys about is we're going to have what I refer to as a versus show. I don't know why the monitor just went dark there on TikTok, but what we're going to have is what I want to kind of have is some sort of this is going to be my version of a versus show. And in addition, as you see, the show is named Take Back Your Damn Country. Take America Back. So the versus show is going to be, here's what I mean when I say the versus show, and I'll certainly look forward to hearing your comments on this. Immigrant health care, you hear a lot of folks on the right suggesting that the Democrats are fighting to give. I don't know what's going on TikTok. You guys let me know if the screen is blacking out. I don't know what's going on with my TikTok screen. It seems to be going in and out. But immigrant health care. You hear folks on the right suggesting that the Democrats are trying to fight to give illegal immigrants access to our healthcare system. People don't want their money going to illegal immigrants getting healthcare. Now, we can push back and forth whether or not the Democrats are actually fighting for that. That's a conversation that'll certainly come up. But fact is, many on the right believe the Democrats are fighting to give health care to illegal immigrants, and they're not happy about that. But like I said, this is a versus show. So we're going to give you a push-pull. We're going to give you the other side of the same conversation and ask what's the difference. Now, while the Democrats are fighting to give, allegedly fighting to give health care to illegal immigrants, President Trump is giving our tax money to the Argentinians. I'm asking you folks, this is the versus. What is the difference? Giving health care to illegal immigrants versus giving what could amount to about $40 billion to illegal immigrants. To Argentinians. What is the difference? Why is one drawing so much fanfare and outrage and the other one drawing little to no attention at all? And by the way, Spider-Man is telling me to go back to Africa. Never been there before, Spider-Man. Never been there before, but I appreciate your comment. He's calling me a mook or something like that. Not racist at all. I'm sure you got a bunch of black friends, but I'm asking you folks, what is the difference? Why is there so much outrage in regards to the perception that Americans are trying to give illegal immigrants health care, but President Trump actively giving 40 billion? I think he gave 20 billion to Argentina, and now he's stated that he may up it. What is the difference, and why is there no outrage? Why is there no outrage? How does it benefit us as, I don't know how either one. I don't know, if the Democrats are fighting to give illegal immigrants health care, which I can't speak on that, but if they are doing it, I don't see how that benefits American citizens. But however, how is giving billions of dollars to Argentina benefiting us? What is the difference? Can someone say what is the difference? Spider-Man, at this point, you're kind of spamming. I don't block, ban, or censor. Right? This is an uncensored show, but okay, you've made your point. If you keep on, I'm gonna have to unfortunately block you. We don't normally block folks. I don't want to block you, but you're in the spamming category. Okay, so continuing on. What is the difference between sending money to Argentina versus giving illegal immigrants health care? We certainly will talk about that. Now, I also, in regards to the versus, this is a versus program. We're comparing one to the other and asking, why is there no difference here? So the second one is, now many of you folks have seen Hamas taking the lives of Palestinians on video by now. There is an execution video floating around of Hamas taking the lives of Palestinians. Hamas is suggesting that the Palestinians are traitors, that the Palestinians were working with Israel. Therefore, they're traitors to their own people. Therefore, that is why they took their lives. Now, the folks in the West, particularly Americans, are outraged. How the hell could, right after a ceasefire, they do something like this? Many Americans are understandably upset because it is a graphic video. And that is what a lot of folks are using to suggest that shows that the group known as Hamas are nothing more than savage terrorists. This is a versus show. So understand, I'm going to have something else I want to talk to you about this comparable to this. Now, many are suggesting that because Hamas committed such an awful act on video, taking lives on video, that shows you they're terrorists. The people's lives they're taking did not get any due process at all. Horrible act. They're terrorists. Well, I'm going to give you the versus show. Currently, President Trump, damn near once a week now, is taking the life of Venezuelans in boats on video. Just like with Hamas, you are watching Venezuelans lose their life on video. Hamas claims that the people they took out were traitors to their country. Trump is claiming that the folks that he has taken out are drug dealers and therefore terrorists to our country. Hamas did not give their victims any due process at all. Neither did President Trump. Neither is President Trump. Both individuals, I'm talking about Hamas and our current administration, President Trump, the Trump administration, both of these individuals, both of these entities are killing people without due process. And the only justification is you have to believe solely what they're telling you as the reason why they're doing it. President Trump, just like Hamas, is not providing any solid proof that the victims of his executions deserved to be executed. So what I do want to ask is, what's the difference? What is the difference when you're watching Hamas take lives of folks based on their decision that the person deserved to die without giving the victim any due process, and then watching President Trump take the lives of people because he believes they deserve to die without giving them any due process? What is the difference? I want to hear from you folks. Now, the obvious startup would be, well, we believe Trump and we don't believe Hamas. Hamas breaks ceasefires. They're a terrorist outfit. They lie all the time. President Trump is trying to make America great again, and he's always honest. He never lies. What is the difference? I want to hear from you folks. What is the difference between both individuals taking lives on video, whereas the folks that are being killed get zero due process? I want to ask that. So looking in the comments, not all Jews are bad, but alpaca and, okay, I don't know what that says, but an admiral is stepping down behind those strikes. Wow, Forever C10 says an admiral. Well, keep in mind, if those strikes are not legal, there could be accountability for the U.S. military. If those strikes that they're performing are not legal, there could be future accountability for folks who are involved in that. So could be something like that. But I want to ask you folks, what is the difference between our president and Hamas executing people on video without any due process? So that's the second topic. Last topic, what do they call this going on? The No King's Day protest. The right is referring to the No King's Day protest as Hate America Day. I just want to ask you folks, why do you think they're referring to the No King's Day protest as Hate America's Day? So that is going to be our three topics. As always, you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Nevertheless, we're going to go to the comments basically right away. I need you guys to tap the screen. I'm down here on vacation. I'm nowhere near my home studio. I don't have the backup, so I can't run to my computer when you guys say something goofy. And I'm going to try to do this, and we're going to do it on the honor system. I'm going to take the word of liberals, take the word of MAGA, and see if we can make this work. You guys know how the program is. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. It's always been an uncensored program. It always will. We are MAGA friendly, always have been MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. We should expect a statement from CARICOM leadership regarding the boat bombings in short order. Even if they give you a statement, the person that was killed didn't get due process. I mean, do you want a statement from Hamas why they took those folks out? I don't know if that's going to suffice, but we'll go straight to Jeremy, one of my subscribers on TikTok. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program.
Hey, before we begin, can I ask why you're dressed like an aging gay librarian?
Because I am an aging gay librarian. Good afternoon.
Sounds fantastic. All right, let's do this. Hope you're enjoying your vacation.
Thank you.
So which one do you want to go after first?
I want to go after Hamas versus the Trump administration.
Okay, fair enough. So from what I know, because I'm not fully included on like the boat strikes 100% or Hamas, but from what I know, it seems like Hamas didn't just simply like react to an attack done on them. They rounded people up and killed them execution style. Is that right?
Well, they're claiming that the people they rounded up are traitors, that they worked with Israel, cooperated with Israel against their own people, and they're executing them for basically treason.
Well, see, then that's a little different from what I know about the boats. From the boats, what I know is that they're actually invading the United States and coming in, and again, as orders.
But where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that those boats are going to invade the United States and come in?
Fox.
Yeah.
But again.
And where do you think Fox is getting it from?
Probably the official sources, so like the White House and stuff like
right.
that. Obviously, I admit that I'm getting this from a biased source. Yeah. But to a certain degree, we have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to accept as evidence, and what were you not? Because unless we're there, we don't know ourselves.
Yeah, but we're talking about no due process, Jeremy. We're talking about. I mean, we're complaining that Hamas took these folks out without due process, while President Trump is showing us videos almost weekly now of us taking out people without due process. What's the difference?
Well, so here's the difference. So I think that with Hamas, it's inexcusable. While with Trump, it's at least maybe not the right response to the boats. So with Hamas, let's really look at what's going on with the boats. Okay, you could say that maybe they should do a vehicle interdiction where they actually have like other boats that are fully armed to the teeth. I don't care how armed they are, as long as they're really well armed. I'm just like stop the boats and point guns at them and say, "Don't move. We're going to come on board."
Okay,
and then maybe arrest the people. That could be a better response. But I don't think it's unjustified to stop these boats. I don't see anyone making any good arguments to stop them. On the other hand, if we look at what Hamas is doing, Hamas didn't simply just defend itself when if the IDF came after them or something like that. That would at least be a decent argument of defense, similar to these boats, and saying, "Oh, we're defending our shores from boats coming in against our will." They rounded people up, they executed them. Clearly, they had time to, if they were going to punish them in any way, at least put them on trial. You have them in your custody. You have weapons pointed at them. I don't even know if they have the legitimate authority to put them on trial.
But Jeremy, you're saying Hamas has time, but you're telling me some small fishing boat that's going to travel 1,700 miles, America does not have time to stop that boat?
I'm not saying that they don't. Again, this is where I think there's a little bit more nuance. I think President Trump's actions, where he just simply bombs the boats, should only be justified if the boats are using immediate force, they're opening in fire or on law enforcement that is trying to stop the boats. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're so far out that they can't reach them when they've already opened fire.
Have you seen that? Does that apply to any of the bombers you've seen so far?
I haven't seen in any evidence that they've actually tried to stop the boats and then defend themselves.
Right. So I guess I'm going back to my original question. How is President Trump's actions on these boats any less egregious than Hamas? You're killing people that you have alternatives to without giving the victims due process. How is that any less egregious?
Because here's the thing. I think that there's no justification that can be made for Hamas.
Why not?
At least with the Trump administration, you can make the argument that they're just going too fast or they're going too far, but they do have the right.
You don't even know. You don't even know if the boats he's bombing carries narcotics at all. The fact that you make it going too fast or too far, that's based on you already believe President Trump when he says the boats are carrying drugs. He hasn't even proved that part yet. So
I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be. I don't know for a fact. I'm pretty sure they do.
Based on since when was Venezuela rather? I mean, we can go way back to the days of Scarface. Since when was Venezuela known as the drug capital? Out of Peru and Colombia and Mexico.
Just because it's not popular, just because it's not a popular known fact, doesn't mean it's not true that that Venezuela is effectively a narco state. Because it is.
Okay. Can we say that what President Trump is doing is taking place with virtually no actual evidence being provided? Can you agree to that?
I don't think so. I think it has some level of evidence,
Give
but
me
I
an
think
example.
the problem
Give me
is
some.
that they're
Give me
not
an
just
example of some level of evidence that the Trump administration has provided.
Intel. They have like Intel reports that actually they show evidence that these were narcotic boats.
Okay. Have you seen the intel report?
I haven't looked through the actual ones themselves, but I've seen like news.
Who told you that? If you haven't seen it, who told you the intel reports say that?
Fox. Again, these are all official reports. These are all, the government can always be bluffing. You know what I'm saying?
You do realize the intel report said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying it's not a guarantee. But here's the thing. That's why I'm saying it's more than likely. But again,
More than likely based on what? On reports that you admit you haven't seen?
Because there's other evidence that it's like that Venezuela absolutely works and tries to push narcotics into the United States.
Okay. So if you say Venezuela absolutely tries to push narcotics into the United States, Hamas could argue that Israel absolutely tries to interfere with the goings on in Palestine.
Fair enough. I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying, Tim, if all of a sudden, and like I told you, like that they're like, if all of a sudden, like for some reason, and like MS-13 had been in your neighborhood for say 20 years or something like that, and then one day in that very MS-13 in heavy neighborhood, there was there was a cop who shot an alleged member, and in court filings they said things. The prosecution said that that guy had narcotics on him. Are you really going to be surprised if the cops found innocence?
Jeremy, we are killing people based on all of that spaghetti people are being killed based on that. Do you think that is worthy enough to kill somebody?
Again, I think the better solution is to actually stop the boats with other heavily armed boats, and if they fire back, then bombing them is open to possibility.
Okay.
I still think that would be better. But here's the thing. Again, I think you could at least make the argument that the United States has the right to stop boats from coming in illegally. While when it comes to just like going after traders, at most, the only justifiable thing I think Hamas could possibly do, because I don't think they're like a respectable, legitimate authority in the first place, is maybe imprisonment of traders at most.
Okay, let me ask it to you this way. Now you believe that Venezuela produces a lot of illegal narcotics, correct?
Yes.
Do you believe people in Mexico use cocaine themselves? Do you believe there are any narcotics users in Mexico?
I'm pretty sure they are all around the world.
Okay, so let me ask you this: let me ask you this question. If a boat carrying narcotics in Venezuela was trying to go to Mexico to put it on the streets of Mexico so that they could get high, do you believe America has the right to destroy that boat? It's going from Venezuela in international waters to Mexico. Do you believe America has the right to shoot that boat down?
If it goes into our specific,
that ain't what I asked you. I'm talking about it's going from.
I know you said international waters. So if it crosses from international to our waters, then.
But you're creating a scenario that I'm not asking you about, though. It's going from Venezuela to Mexico via international waters. Do we have a right to interfere with it?
Okay, so if it just stays in international waters, well then not the United States, unless Mexico asks for us to do it or something like that, if they know it's coming there.
Okay, the reason I'm asking you that is because when boats take off the coast of Venezuela, how do you know that's not happening? You haven't received any itinerary from these boats. How do you know that boat is not going to Mexico?
Well, last time I checked, aren't they being shot in our waters?
No, none of these boats. All of these boats have been shot down there in their region. None of these boats have been shot anywhere, not even within 500 miles of America. None of these boats have been shot anywhere near America.
I haven't heard that one before. I'll have to look into that.
You got to watch more than Fox, Jeremy.
That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I've kind of skimmed the surface of this subject. So but again, you're asking like, well, what exactly it should be done, and I'm saying. And that once they enter our waters, they should be arrested. and I have no problem using force once they use force back. And I think you and I
don't argue with that. You and I agree on that. If every country 12 miles outside of its border, so 12 miles out into the Pacific or out into the Atlantic is still considered U.S. air. If you're 12 miles off the coast of the United States, we don't know who the hell you are. I'm fine with the argument there. But when you're 1,200 miles away, no. And these boats are actually further than 1,200 miles away.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Now, let's say that they had like hostages or something on board, which at that point you wouldn't bomb it. That you would invade it with like SEAL Team 6 or something like that. But unless they're doing something like violent to American ships or something like that, or American property, yeah, international waters. Or if they're just doing that, we don't really have the right to like stop them from doing whatever they're doing.
So at this point, then, I'm going to ask the question, and before I'm moving on from you, the question I asked you in the beginning. What's the difference between what President Trump is doing outside of our country, the people that he claims are doing something wrong with no proof, versus what Hamas is doing? What is the difference?
It's more evil that Hamas is doing what they're doing.
That's it? The lesser of two evils?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I support either one.
Okay, so you admit what Trump is doing is evil, just not as evil as Hamas.
Assuming everything you said is accurate, yes.
Okay, I'd invite you to look it up. You can certainly, come back and critique me anytime, Jeremy. You know we always go down like that. Come on back anytime. Go ahead.
Before I go, I will say that when it comes to a lot of these people that are against President Trump blowing up the boats, one thing that I really don't like is that there are too many people who are unreasonable who would probably say, even if they're in our waters, it's okay to say that he was wrong for blowing them up.
And you notice I didn't do that. Yeah, you notice I didn't do that. You can't just let some unknown vessel enter, just like you can't let some plane just fly over your airspace. Like when the balloons were flying over under Biden, we eventually shot them down. So yeah, if some boat is entering the United States waterway and they're not identifying themselves, yeah, I'm fine with taking force or whatever you got to do against that. But this stuff is happening, hundreds of miles away from our border. So America's sovereignty is not in danger whatsoever on this. And you're talking about like they're killing like 4 or 5 people. So it's not like 4 or 5 people are going to come 1,800 miles and, this isn't Invasion USA with Chuck Norris. But I got to move it on, Jeremy. I appreciate you coming through.
Have a good one, Tim.
You too. All right, folks, by the way, I know I probably sound shitty here. I'm on vacation down in the Volunteer State, good old Nashville. Tap the screen, by the way. I need you folks to do that. It helps out the algorithm. We don't block, ban, or censor. That still applies when we're on the road. Tap the screen, get the likes up. If you're watching us on YouTube or Instagram, feel free to follow the program. Yeah, I heard a guy got one of the new cartel leaders and he flipped. What do you mean by I heard? Oh, he says, yeah, I heard they got one of the new cartel leaders and he flipped. The question we're asking, folks, this is a versus show. And we're talking about Hamas caught on video taking the lives of Palestinians, claiming that they were traitors. They were in cahoots with Israel, therefore working with the enemy, and the punishment is death. I mean, no different. Let's be clear, folks, because a lot of folks are complaining about Hamas not giving these folks due process for their claim that they work with the enemy. I got into a debate with about this, and I just want to say something, and I hate to come across as defending Hamas, but I am going to explain it. I don't like what happened, but I am going to explain it. How many of you folks have seen the movie Red Dawn? I think most of you probably have seen either the first one or the second one. First one with Patrick Swayze. It imitates a invasion by Russia on American soil. They're out in the woods and shit fighting this out individually. The point I'm making is, if that group, the Patrick Swayze group, if you had been in cahoots with Russia doing Red Dawn, they would have executed you on your hands and knees the same way Hamas would have done. That's the point I'm making. If you had to work with the Russians in the movie Red Dawn, and those people found out, them white boys would have executed you in the woods, just like Hamas. So for folks who are suggesting that they should have got due process and all, We wouldn't do that shit. Understand, we would not give you due process if an active war was taking place and enough people believed you were working with the enemy. So don't ever believe that Hamas are so savage that they're doing something Americans would not do. And understand, Palestine, or Gaza rather, Gaza doesn't have any infrastructure. So it's not like they're going to have you show up to court on Friday. They don't have any fucking buildings remaining. They don't even have running water or any type of disposal for waste. They're not going to take you to some courtroom and give you due process. If America was dilapidated, Mad Max style, where we're already, some of you folks may have seen The Day After. I'm giving my age, my Gen X age by these old movies, but you see maybe The Day After. It was on ABC. It was a mini series back in the 80s. If America was in that state and they believed one of its citizens worked with the enemy, you're going out just like those Palestinians did in Gaza. Americans are going to do you the same way Hamas did. So I just want to make that clear that what Hamas did, while savage, only looks savage to us because right now we're a civilized country. We're not dilapidated due to 3 years of continuous bombing and war. But if we were in their state, we would do the same thing Hamas did. If you're an American working with the enemy, you're going to have a group of Americans take your ass out to the woods and you're going to hear a single gunshot. Or you may hear a bunch of them. But there's not going to be some kind of court hearing in between. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, continuing on with the program, we said this is a versus show. The other verses I want to point out is the right is saying that the Democrats are trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. People don't want their tax money going to that. But the right is actually giving your tax money to the country of Argentina. 20 billion, and now Trump has indicated he may up that to 40 billion. I just want to ask, what's the difference in regards to our versus show, America, better yet, Hamas versus the Trump administration, giving money to immigrants versus giving money to the Argentinians? By the way, the money going to Argentina could be used for their health care. How do you know? So what is the difference between health care for illegal immigrants versus money going to the country of Argentina? Looking in the comments, because that's where he's going to go when all this goes south. Just like another person. Wow, Eric. How many of you folks get the reference? I'll go back to the box here, but Eric says President Trump is sending money to Argentina because once things go south for President Trump, he is going to choose that as the country he flees to, like someone else allegedly in history. That's a hell of a statement, Eric. Let me go back to the box. It's called The Right Because We Are. I kind of agree with that. None, not any, none. By the way, folks, tap the screen. I need to get up to 20. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 20,000. Smash that like button if you happen to be watching on YouTube or Instagram. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with Lewis. Good evening, Lewis. Welcome to the program. And it has not been confirmed if it has happened yet. What do you mean by that Prada, Gucci, Fendi channel? I love the name there. Lewis, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Just
Tim,
out
I
here.
swear, man.
Say that again.
I swear, Jeremy stole my line when he came in there, man. Because I was thinking the same thing with those colors you got on, man.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
I say either he's in the Philippines in Pattaya, which is a large LGBTQ community.
Oh damn! Is it really that bad? A brother put on pink and suddenly he gay, huh?
It's not bad at all. It's just supporting. It's very supporting look. I'll put it to you that way. But
what the fuck is that? Very supporting? What is that? Talk about backhanded.
You're definitely flying their colors. I'll put it to you that way.
All right.
But
I'll take it. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'll take it today.
Well, it could be for breast cancer too, though. So that's a good.
You know. I'll give you a statement in regards to what we're talking about right now. This is so bad that Roy S. or is that Ray S. on YouTube says The garments I'm wearing are so fucked up. I can't even say I'm MAGA friendly wearing this. That's what he says. He can't say.
You cannot.
Oh my
You're definitely
God.
not saying. You're definitely saying handsome liberal today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord. Well, I'll take handsome over being called a pretty boy. So we talk. Let's get to the topics. Hamas versus the Trump administration.
Let me say this to you, Tim. Let me say this to you first. Number one, why do you think we're giving? Just something for you to think about now. Why do you think we're giving Argentina $40 billion?
Trump favors the right-wing candidate running for office there. And if all of a sudden that guy is able to get that type of money and that type of relationship with the United States, that might make his people who are struggling view him as somebody who can get shit done.
Now, let me say this to you. Where are those $40 billion coming from?
Democrat cities. I don't know. It's coming from us.
You don't think it's coming from Doge?
Ooh. I mean, it could be. I mean, you know, it very well could be.
What did the Nazis do when they left Germany?
They went there.
What country
They went there. They went, and there's still a significant Nazi presence in Argentina.
There you go. So he could just be stashing. You hear what I'm saying?
So you kind of agree with what my viewer on YouTube said, is that Trump may, if this goes south, use that as a country of refuge.
Absolutely. No question about it, bro.
Damn. I don't think it's going south, though. I think Trump is going to die a very wealthy old man here in the land of the red, white, and blue.
I think that's going to happen sooner than you think, but there's nothing to do with it.
I need your help now. You can't just say no shit like, elaborate. What do you mean by that? What are you trying to get at?
I just think he's in poor health. I'm not saying I don't want anything bad to happen to Trump. I told Barbara.
I get it.
Me and my girl, we was talking. I said, you know what? Even when I was hearing this stuff, because you posted that one thing from that doctor on your site.
I posted more. That doctor said more since then, but yeah, I posted him. Yeah.
That kind of made me sad a little bit. I'm gonna tell you something, Tim. I hated that you posted that, because I wish I would have never seen that. Because I did feel sorry for him. I'm gonna be sorry. I'm not a sympathetic person, but let me say this to you, Tim. Number one, what is the penalty for treason in the United States?
Same as Hamas.
There you go. Now, it would never happen during peacetime. It would never happen in this kind of gentler world that we live in. But what do you think would happen if one of my soldiers committed that crime when I was over in that big sandbox?
You're going to take him out right now.
On the spot.
Yeah, and by the way, I kind of disagree with your comment about it won't happen during peacetime. I'm not sure during peacetime. If, let's say, for instance, somebody was the enemy of, let's say, Russia or Iran or one of our enemies, North Korea, was plotting to take the life of President Trump. And some American was working with him, giving him routes and things like that, maybe a member of the Secret Service or something like that. I think Trump would be happy seeing that person executed during peacetime.
But I don't think our soldiers or our sailors or airmen or Marines would do it on the spot like Hamas did.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would never happen like that in peacetime. It would never happen like that. You know what I'm saying?
But see the difference with Hamas.
Trial.
Yeah, the difference with Hamas is where they gonna hold trial outside. They don't even have a building to hold trial in.
Exactly. And another thing, and Hamas came back and said it today. Said, you guys are asking us to turn over dead bodies when we haven't even found our own people's dead bodies yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
but that should have been stated louder when Trump was claiming that he's working a peace deal. They should have made it clear, we can give you everybody back that's alive, but they should. I don't know. Maybe they did say it, and the Israelis just wanted the living people back and just ignored it. But they probably, because I was saying that on my lives, is that I don't think they're ever going to get all of you. You don't blew up the whole country many times over. You probably blown some of them people apart.
I think Netanyahu is using this as an excuse to go ahead and finish the job. I mean, that's just the bottom line on it.
I do too. I absolutely do.
And as far as those votes, let me tell you this right here. You know that he just did a strike today, and there are survivors from the vote. So now we're
They
going
hit
to
a
find out.
submarine though, so that it's hard. It's hard to say you're innocent in a fucking submarine. That's kind of hard.
Thunder, stop licking.
Yeah, but they are survivors. There are survivors,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to talk, and we'll be able to find out if they're. That means if they survive, then some of the cargo probably should have survived too, right?
Yeah, but if they pluck him out, I mean, the people who survived had to be plucked out of the water, probably by the U.S. If the U.S. is plucking you out of the water, they, if there's cargo that shows you're carrying drugs, they'll get that. If the cargo is fish or something like that, the U.S. will leave that behind and still say you had drugs on you.
Our cargo, our military could definitely make those boats on. They can unarm those boats or make them unoperable and board those boats and find out the truth. There's no reason in the world, but they're just trying to. I mean, come on, man. We changed the Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War. This guy's trying to act like he's a tough guy, and he's really just being a tyrant. He's just really being a tyrant. We had another general in top offices retire. He resigned because he said he's not going to listen to Hesse. He's talking.
I heard somebody said an admiral resigned as well over these strikes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we had 3 of them in the last 2 weeks that just resigned. He told them to resign if they thought they couldn't meet his standards. So they're doing what he said.
I mean, listen, I don't think anyone that has served or anybody that even knows about the U.S., even you don't even need to have served. Everybody knows that America has alternatives other than just killing those people.
Tim, I always say to you, and I mean this. You know why people are not? Would you come across that border right now, even if you were claiming asylum to America, knowing that they're going to ship you off to El Salvador or to?
I think the chance of somebody coming across the southern border, particularly if they're brown, and successfully getting in via the asylum process is probably less than 0.01%.
Absolutely, no question about it. And not only that, even before this thing happened with DT, if that big ocean went between South America and Europe, they wouldn't come here anyway.
Right.
Because the Europeans treat their immigrants way better than we do.
The Canadians do
just
too.
That ocean separates them.
Yeah, the Canadians do too. I mean, the Canadians have been somewhat immigrant friendly all the way back to slavery. They used to let us up there and stay if you could get there. And then, of course, during Trump's first administration, they offered visas to anybody that could make it.
If they could swim around the whole coast of America and go to Canada, they'd be going to Canada.
But we'd kill them. We would kill them along the route.
We probably would shoot them anyway.
We would kill them. We don't know who you are. We would kill them along the route.
I guarantee you they would. All right, Tim, man, I just want to come up and say, trust me, what he's doing is totally unacceptable. What Hamas did is totally understandable. I agree with you 100%. That if that would have happened, and you used a perfect example, just think of Red Dawn, man. Yeah. Movies sometimes imitate life, and I think that's what would happen if it was in the United States or anywhere else in the world. Right. If you found a traitor among you after you've been invaded, and that's pretty much what Israel is doing, is invading Gaza. So you take them out too. So
I don't know offhand because, like I said, I don't have my computers behind me. But I'll dare say this with a fair bit of confidence. I bet it happened during the Civil War. I bet you there were Union soldiers who killed their own and Confederates who killed their own for working with the other side. I bet you we've already done it in this country.
Absolutely. You know, I live like less than 20 minutes from Gettysburg, and I've been through all those stories, and they definitely they tell you those stories, that there were cousins fighting against cousins is what people don't understand. There were relatives fighting against. There's a reason why they say the most Americans that ever lost their lives in war was the Civil War.
Well, because both sides were Americans. Everybody that died was an American. Lewis?
So they were killed. They were killing their own.
Yep. Appreciate it, man.
All right, Tim.
Good talk.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. Very lazy thumbs in here. We got almost 300 of you folks in here, and we had 15,000. What the hell is that? Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 25,000. I'm out here on a vacation trying to talk to you folks. Show the program some love. Help your boy reach that hat and mustache goal, if you will. Looking on YouTube, it's called treason. Yeah, I don't know why Hamas grabbing some of its citizens and executing them for treason is all of a sudden so shocking to Americans who would do the exact same thing if we were dealing with that. We would do the exact same thing. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those versions of our shit don't stink because we're not doing it right now. But we have a history of doing the same thing. We absolutely have a history of doing the same thing. And I don't even want to say it I'm not defending Hamas. I'm just explaining what they're doing is not that unusual. The only difference is they caught it on video. And then, of course, I'm pointing out how President Trump is almost weekly blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela, and them folks are not getting any due process at all either. The only difference I'm going to give you, why Hamas looks awful and Trump looks justified, is that people believe that Hamas are terrorists and they've broken ceasefires and they lie all the time. And President Trump is trying to make America great again, and he never lies and he's always honest. That's the only reason why you would view one different than the other, in my humble opinion. But I want to hear from you folks. It's funny how Trump used to always say the government isn't supposed to tell the enemy the next move. Well, he did it on TV and he has dementia. All you got to do is compliment him and feed his ego. I don't know about Prada, Gucci, Fendi, Channel. I like them names all together. You're spending money over there. My guess is President Trump's probably been like that for decades, where flattery will get you everywhere with him. I mean, my guess is he's probably been like that for a while. He just wasn't on camera getting caught doing it, where you got a line of folks in the Oval Office that give him all sorts of compliments before a press briefing or whatever. Now you're seeing it up close and clearly. By the way, and tap the screen, I'll take the next call at 25,000. Tap the screen on TikTok. By the way, I personally believe that's the reason why we suddenly started helping out the Ukrainians. Is that Zelensky, when the Pope passed away, when the Pope died a few months ago, and there's this photo of President Trump sitting in a chair across from Zelensky, and they met at the Pope's funeral. My guess is Zelensky started realizing I need to butter this guy up. And I believe from that moment on, Zelensky of the Ukraine has been buttering up President Trump. Because from that meeting on, America under President Trump completely changed its stance on helping the Ukrainians. And now that America has been threatening to even send long-range tomahawks to the Ukraine, guess who President Trump got a call from? Vladimir Putin. What do you think is going to happen? Now, Trump is supposed to meet Vladimir Putin, I believe, in a few days or a few weeks in the nation of Hungary. What do you think Putin's going to do? Probably butter up Trump. Probably butter up Trump. You'll know if after that meeting, President Trump starts speaking more positively of Russia. After that phone call, Trump already started rescinding on the threat of giving Ukrainians tomahawks. After talking to Putin and scheduling that meeting, he's already started talking about, well, you know, we don't have so many tomahawks and we got to make sure we keep our own supply. He wasn't saying that before he talked to Putin. So I'm going to submit this theory to you. Putin realizes that Zelensky has been buttering up to Trump and he is falling out of favor with Trump. So now he wants to meet with Trump again so that he can do it too. And you'll have really solid evidence of that if after that meeting with Putin, President Trump starts to begin to get very, very soft on Russia. We'll see how it happens. I want to be wrong on this, but we'll see. Anyway, tap the screen. We're almost at 25. We'll take the next call at 25. Looking in the comments, Trump's so easy to lobby. Well, I mean, some folks love to be flattered. President Trump, you stoke his ego, it goes a long way. To me, stoking Trump's ego is akin to giving a man a hand job. It really is. Stoking his ego is akin to giving a man a hand job. You'll get a long way if you give out free hand jobs. Anyway, looking in the comments, Down might want to remember who gave Russia uranium one deal after they took over Crimea. Okay, Chris, I don't know what you mean. Trump always buffers up Russia. He always butters up Russia. Well, but Putin embarrassed him. Certainly after the meeting in Alaska, that meeting for President Trump was an utter failure. President Trump had already threatened Russia that if they didn't stop the war in 50 days and Russia didn't make a move, he narrowed it down to 10 days, threatened them again, they didn't make a move. Then he said, well, we're going to meet in Alaska, and if nothing comes out of that, they're going to be strict sanctions against Russia. Putin met him in Alaska. Trump is giving him a flyover, got him walking on red carpet. Trump is actually applauding as Putin walks up. Now, we gave Obama a lot of criticism for his apology tour. Here, President Trump laying out the red carpet for the enemy, applauding him as he walks up and then puts him in the presidential limo. And folks suggested that was somehow the right thing to do for America. And of course, we know now, several weeks out, America got nothing out of that. Nothing at all. Putin got a hell of a lot of recognition and probably praise in his region. We got nothing out of that. Anyway, let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with the show. Tap the screen. Don't know what just happened there. Give me a minute to clear whatever I'm looking at. There we go. We'll go back to the box and we'll go to one of my subscribers I thought I saw there. Love to Cruz. Good evening, Love to Cruz. Welcome to the program. Okay, apparently he dropped out. So we'll try it again here with Mike. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the show. Hand job, so true. Yeah, it's like giving him a hand job. Good evening, Mike.
Yeah, that would be fluffing, Tim. That would be fluffing.
I need to be fluffed in, goddammit.
No, I'm saying the hand jobs would be fluffing, right?
Yeah.
That's what they are. That's fluffing.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's the technical.
That's the technical. That's what I've been. Yeah.
I don't do that shit. Based on that statement, please never accuse me of fluffing again.
Why do you think I've been saying it for the last?
Are you trying to suggest that I give hand jobs to MAGA?
I didn't use those terms, right?
Okay.
Because see, you can say something different and mean the same thing, but people don't care about that, right? States' rights. States' rights. Yeah. Right? It's this other strategy. We just change up how the fuck we say shit, okay, and we're just fine, right?
Yeah, and I see folks on both platforms are telling me, yes, I do give. In case the grandma goes this, I do not give hand jobs to MAGA. I enjoy talking to MAGA. I don't give them hand jobs. So let me ask you the question: what is the difference between?
Every now and then you get your hands in there.
No, we do not. That does not happen here. This is a respectable program.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Thank you. So the question is, what is the difference between Hamas executing what they perceive as treasonous traitors and President Trump executing what he perceives as drug dealers bringing fentanyl to America? Neither case, Hamas or the Trump administration, are providing any sort of proof. Neither case does either executioner provide any due process to the victims. What is the difference? Why are we referring to Hamas as terrorists and a bad guy, and we're all of a sudden supporting Trump when neither one of them are given due process?
Well, first of all, we need to make sure that we threw Israel in this conversation as well, because there was a ceasefire, and then they unalived some people during the ceasefire last week, right? So we can't leave Israel out of this conversation. So the answer is nothing's different. The only difference is Hamas put it on TV and showed us.
Well, but Trump does too.
Well, no, because he lies about why he's doing it. He hasn't shown us any evidence of any of these people doing anything illegal to the fact that it would lead to their unalivement. Because I would argue, if they want to justify these actions by just calling them a T group, then he should be unaliving all domestic T groups, including the ones that support him.
Well, he doesn't deem anybody that supports him as a domestic terrorist group. I would tell you this: if Antifa suddenly came out in favor of Trump, he would rescind their terrorist designation as well.
Because he is a prostitute in chief. I told you. He throws his ass in a circle every chance he gets, and he's waiting for somebody to fluff him. And as long as you do that, you'll get something. He's gonna listen. Think about where they're meeting. They're meeting in Hungary.
Yeah. The dictatorship.
And
Victor, what is his name? Victor Arbov or something?
Viktor Orban.
Orban, yeah.
Now, you and I were just talking about this when I gave you the mob boss analogy. Now, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you got 3 of the mob bosses coming to meet to talk about shit. Stay with my analogy, Tim. I just gave you this 2 days ago.
About to have a sit down. The family's about to have a sit down. The families.
Now the families are about to have a sit down in neutral territory with somebody with the same ideology. How do you think that's going to turn out for Ukraine, sir?
I'm sure Zelensky is thinking the same thing what you're talking about now.
Listen, understand. Trump told Bibi already months ago, before he won, basically hurry up and finish the job.
Yeah.
They got this peace deal just to get those hostages out, and now they're going to finish the job. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to turn the other way while it happens. Bibi's going to apologize. Trump's going to slap him on his hand, and they're going to move forward. That's exactly what's going to happen. This has been there, and he's about to do the same thing with Russia.
So you're kind of in the camp where I am. Whereas once President Trump meets with Putin, his stance on Russia is going to change for the better for the Russians.
Yeah, the only time it didn't happen is when Zelensky came here and they ridiculed him in the White House about the way he was dressed. Every other meeting, he's with Ukraine, he's back to Russia, he's back to Ukraine. You remember that person said it's the last person in the room with Trump?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So they were pretty accurate about that shit now, weren't they?
It does appear that whoever talked to him last is probably in the best standing.
Right. And so that's what's going to happen here. People have to remember that this is fascism, that he doesn't care. He's unaliving these people in these boats with no evidence that they've done anything. His supporters believe it. They say, well, if it's a threat, it's not a threat. I would argue that, matter of fact, so Venezuela is now, we were sending people back to them to incarcerate. Weren't we just fine with them 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Weren't we just fine?
Yeah. Things move fast in the Trump administration.
Like literally 6 months ago, he was praising them. And so now all of a sudden, they're a narco state, all of a sudden, with no evidence whatsoever. How do we go from one extreme to the other? I told you this, Tim. The one extreme to the other, and they just buy into it no matter what. DC was good in April and in June, and then it was bad in August, right? It's like, how the fuck do we get here?
He changes quick. But what about the whole notion that the man claims, I think today he said he's ended 8 wars. This will be the 9th. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Somebody helping me reach the goal there. What is that said? Akuna King, thank you very much. He's about to end the 9th war, according to President Trump. What say you?
Well, I say he's full of shit, Tim. You know what I'm going to say. You can answer this yourself. If somebody said, what do you think Mike's going to say when I say this? You would say, he's going to tell me I'm full of shit. And so I'm saying it's full of shit. He hasn't ended anything. It's all flowers, makeup, and imagery. There's no substance to it at all. And there will never be substance to it. And as long as people buy into it and don't hold him accountable, why would he ever have to be accountable to any of it? Ever.
Well, you got to understand, people do think President Trump is doing a really good job. As he said, he's making America great. People favor what he's doing. That's probably why the accountability is low. As long as you're doing what's best for the country, we won't ask too many questions.
I know what they think. I know what they believe. I know how they feel. None of that shit is based in facts. Not one of those things is based in facts. Booming boats, or not even ships, boats off in international water or off the coast is absurd. You couldn't point to me another time in history where this has happened and it's just being brushed off. There's no investigations. Congress isn't opened up a committee to investigate it. They've done nothing. Done nothing.
Why do you think that is, though?
Because it's part of the plan, Tim. They're moving on to Project Esther. They're damn near done with Project 2025. They're on to the next plan.
What is
To take away-
okay? Cue me in Project Esther.
Yeah. Project Extra. That's the next goal to strip away all the voting rights, to strip away just ability to not have fair elections anymore. They're moving forward, and these dumb motherfuckers are still thinking that this is a game until it's not.
Give me the steps that you believe will be used to basically take away voting rights.
Well, they've already purchased. He has a loyalist company that purchased Dominion. That's number one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got a far right. So
Appreciate that real talk. Thank you.
We won't be able to trust the results of an election anymore. That'd be one. And then as soon as this bill starts really impacting the rural counties and white Americans and MAGAs that supported him, and they start peeling back and getting angry about it, because listen, the same people that stormed the damn Capitol will be the same people reacting again the other way. You can't create a monster and then control the way the monster reacts.
Well, but what if he looks out for his own people to some degree? Like, for instance, the
He's
farmers. The farmers. You don't think he's going to bail out the farmers?
But listen, Tim, that won't be enough. That won't be enough. How fast is he going to bail? How fast can he bail them out? Some of the damage is already done. Some of their credit, some of their supply chain, some of their customers and their vendors. That shit is gone. You can't just give them the money and say they're whole again. It's going to take them years, and you know why? Because it's a perishable commodity. If they can't farm and sell that produce, it's gone. They have to start over again. So this is not an easy fix. People keep thinking that it is because they're not paying attention. They don't understand. They don't understand. But the funny thing is, again, the same people that thought that they were storming that Capitol for the right reason will be the same people up in arms when they start realizing all the shit they thought they were going to get, they didn't get. Is Dr. Linden asking me, am I a farmer? Or who are the farmers? Oh, they're all over the place. But anyway.
Yeah, but based on what you're saying, then, you're basically making it sound like eventually MAGA and the liberals are going to team up in anger against the Trump administration.
No. I'm not saying MAGA and the liberals are going to team up. I'm saying that those supporters, those people that are starting to feel, and you starting to hear them. I mean, Jeremy was a MAGA supporter. Yeah. Now he doesn't support it. Now I don't think Jeremy's going to go as far as revolt because I think he's too pussy to do it. But what I'm saying that there's a lot of them out there that aren't.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm telling you, Tim? I mean, those same people.
But wouldn't Trump immediately squash them?
Yes. Yes. That's what he would try to do. That's why he's insulating himself. That's why he's getting rid of those career military generals and admirals and getting loyalists. What do you think he's doing all this for? You think he's doing all of this for nothing? Why would you be so concerned about getting rid of career military leaders and replacing them with just your loyalists in the military for 3 years? Makes no fucking sense, does it? Think about it, Tim.
Well, I mean, it's working, though. I can tell you that.
But what's working? Listen. What would a career general not do that a loyalist will do if it was lawful?
Wait. What would a career general do that? Repeat that again. That a loyalist would.
What would a career general, if he's getting orders, what would a career general not do that a loyalist would do?
Well, there's not much a loyalist is not going to do.
So he's willing to break the law or the Constitution. Yeah. So why would you need them in there for such a short period of time, Tim?
Well,
you weren't planning to stay.
I get your point is that he's putting loyalists in there because he wants them to break the law for him. But I will counter that. I'll give you the
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's putting them in there for that, and he ain't planning to leave.
Well,
what future do they have?
Well, all of that
future do they have after Trump?
Okay, they don't have any future. But all that's breaking the law. But I will say this. Also, the difference is a career general. You could actually be Trump and give a lawful order that a career general might disagree with. Maybe he just thinks it's too harsh, or maybe he thinks it's taking us in the wrong direction. A career general might actually, maybe he thinks it's tactically stupid. So it could also be a career, like giving money to Argentina is not against the law. And there are people in this country that would disagree with that. So a career general may disagree with something and just resign because he thinks it's a bad idea tactically, but it might not be illegal.
Listen, it might not, but I'm gonna tell you this: at the end of the day, you got to think about the whole picture. There's no reason to make an overhaul in the military just for 3 years, Tim. No legitimate reason to do it whatsoever. Because you can work around those in the current military. They've been doing it through signal chat. These same people were in place when they did the strike in Iran, right?
Yeah.
Some of these same people were in place when he bombed Boom Boom the first boat. So why a significant overhaul if you're not going to be here? Those people won't have a long career with the next administration.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, my guess is, well, if the next administration is Pete Hegseth or J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, though, they will.
The only way that happens is if you can't trust the voting, Tim. They won't get reelected, Tim.
You don't. I don't know. You don't think right now the Democrats don't have a strong candidate? You don't think that J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio would be competitive right now if they ran?
Absolutely not. Now I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you 2 reasons why. If we're talking about a normal cadence that we would normally see, the reality is they would probably be indicted.
Marco Rubio?
100%.
Based on what?
You don't think Marco Rubio is breaking the law right along with it?
I don't think Marco Rubio is responsible, let's say, for the boats being destroyed. I mean, what is Marco Rubio himself specifically responsible for?
Looking the other way, Tim. Looking the other way. Not being clear and present on these orders as a leader. Most of this shit shouldn't be happening. With him, Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, all of this shit, Tim. Listen, these are war crimes that are happening right now.
I don't know if you got a case against Marco Rubio. You can get him. You can say he's derelict or he's incompetent. But I mean, that's just like with Rumsfeld when we were going into Iraq. If they wanted to hold George Bush accountable, I don't think Colin Powell or Rumsfeld would have got it.
At the end of the day, what we're watching, what we're witnessing. I told you it's a kakistocracy. I've been telling you that. I'm gonna continue to tell you that it's a kakistocracy. And we're watching fascism Trump has even been on TV saying that taking away free speech when he talked about the flags, right?
He's actually used the phrase, "We took away free speech."
Yeah.
He actually used that as a quote.
Yes. He used it as a literal quote. And so what are we talking about? Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, all of this shit, man, all of these. So listen, don't pay attention. Don't listen to me. Start looking at the people around him. Laura Loomer. I don't like none of these motherfuckers. Marjorie Taylor Greene. All of these people starting to go, wait, this may be a bridge too far, right? For whatever that thing is. There's people that followed them into this too, Tim. There's people that followed them into this. There's people that followed Charlie Kirk into this. There's people that are following that are raising their eyebrows going, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that.
Right now, probably the biggest thing is demanding that the media sign this paperwork that they're only going to ask questions that are from the Pentagon's approval. That even I believe Newsmax or One American News, one of those, which is to the right of Fox. OAN and Newsmax are actually to the right of Fox. One of those networks, not both of them, but one of those networks even said, no, this is too far.
Too far. And again, he's not going to stop. He's transactional. Whatever he has to. You listen, what's today? Today's the 17th. You watch what shit comes back from this summit in Hungary. You mark my words. You're gonna be like, what the fuck just happened? He's gonna come back from over there with a completely different shirt on. Mark my words.
I actually agree with you. I think, like you and I said at the beginning of the conversation, whoever meets with Trump last tends to have an advantage. And I do think that Putin is smart enough to realize this guy's talking about giving Zelensky tomahawks. We're going to have to stop it, because he met with Kim Jong-un and the leader of India and Xi Jinping, and folks are ridiculing Trump like, these folks are plotting against you. I think when Putin meets with him, real talk, appreciate that. I think when Trump meets with him, it's gonna be different. I think when Trump meets with Putin, I agree with you. I think Trump's gonna come back and it's gonna be less harsh on Russia coming back.
Here's what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to let you go. Don't be surprised if I'm not even going to elaborate. Don't be surprised if Trump comes back a little sicker after he meets with Putin.
You're not talking about poisoning them, are you?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I didn't say that.
I mean, because
I didn't say
Putin,
that.
Putin has a history of doing that, but you don't get access to the president's food.
Now, you said that. I didn't.
That ain't.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, with this cacostocracy, that the Secret Service and CIA and all of them are being as cautious as they normally would? Or do you think they follow Trump's lenient sort of fly-by off the... Do you think that they're acting as if they normally do? Or do you think that they're acting the way he's asking them to?
I knew they were not acting that way when President Trump claims he walked up to the wall in North Korea with no security. I mean, I knew it then. Yeah, Trump is telling them what to do, and they know if they don't do it, they're going to lose their jobs. I mean, you see when he got up and said, fight, fight, fight. And, I mean, the Secret Service ain't going to let you do no shit like that. Let me go back and get my shoes. They tried to kill me. Let me go back and get... I mean, no, I don't think the Secret Service is acting like they normally do. Trump is pretty much running them, just like he's doing Congress and his administration. Mike, last word.
Last word. You damn right. When they met on that red carpet, did the Secret Service meet with and check?
It's another good point.
Putin?
Yeah, he could.
You see what I'm telling you?
He could have Caesared them right there.
He could have shook his hand. You know how they get down over there. He could have shook his hand, and later on you find out that and listen, people say this is it, but we've seen it before.
Yeah.
We've seen it before, and I believe that Putin knows it's impossible for him to be the last one in the room. It's impossible. So ultimately, and if he's over there talking to Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, and they're all on the same page, which one has the quickest access to Trump out of those three?
You said Putin. Who was the other two? Kim Jong-un, and what's the other one?
Ping. Putin. So he could be talking to Putin about his conversation with Trump to manipulate Trump for all three nations.
Last word before I let you go. What do you think if for some reason it did appear, because we wouldn't have any solid evidence, but if for some reason it did appear as if Trump went into failing health and possibly passed away right after a meeting with Putin, and many Americans believed, because we wouldn't have any proof, but many Americans believed that the Russians had basically took out Trump, how would America respond to that? Because you got J.D. Vance in there now.
He wouldn't do shit.
And the Democrats would celebrate. I don't think there would be a lot of motivation in this country to do shit. MAGA would be pissed off, but you're right. The Democrats would be like, okay, what's done is done. So that's half the country right there. And then a lot of Republicans. I agree with you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to land here because I know you got to go, because at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't about Trump. It's about fascism. It's about the long-term strategy. He's just a pawn in it, just like Charlie Kirk. And that's why you haven't heard Charlie Kirk's name in weeks. You haven't heard them mention anything about Charlie Kirk. Matter of fact, I'm going to...
That's not true. You just gave the guy a Medal of Freedom.
Again, this shit, Tim, okay, he gave him a medal. And again, what are we going to do now? What's the next thing?
Well, he is dead, you know. I mean, maybe he'll get a highway. How about that?
But yeah, he might get a highway. But my point is this. If something happened to Trump, it would move on as well. It would move on. They would mourn. He would move on. But my point is, Tim, this whole movement is bigger than him. It's bigger than them. You got to. They're not. He's just the vessel. He's just the vehicle. He's not the end game. He thinks he is.
I don't know. I think, to me, you and I disagree on that. I got to move on. But to me, Trump is MAGA. Trump has shown the right, the far right, the Tea Party. He has shown them something to get behind like they've never seen before. Wrap it up. Last word.
Yep, last word, because Black Knight just because I was going to bring that up. Have you ever? Maybe I brought it up the other day when it came to Charlie Kirk. Did you ever see his parents? I think we talked about this, right?
Yeah,
Did
we
you
have,
ever
and I
see
have
them?
not. Other than his wife, I haven't heard from anybody in this family.
It's all been performative, Tim, for this bigger picture. We can't focus on the little shit Trump's going to say anything and everything. I'm not even focused on Ukraine and Russia or Israel and Hamas. I'm not, because we can't control any of that shit. They know what they're going to do. They're going to tell us whatever. I don't even feed into it. I'm watching what they're doing here. That's what I'm paying attention to.
All right. Well, let's see how it turns out.
Hey, enjoy your vacation, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll keep the gear coming. By the way, help your boy get the hat mustache go. Shout out to you folks that are supporting the show. Trump is the most ignorant president we have ever had, says Richard Stover. Most ignorant? I don't know. I think Trump is really intelligent. Just the stuff he is doing, you're not going to agree with. I think Trump's agenda is different than any other president we've ever had. I think Trump is doing a really good job in meeting the agenda that he has for America. Now, you may totally disagree with it. Some even suggested his agenda is Agenda 47 or Project 2025, which in only 9 months, he's accomplished a whole lot of Project 2025. So I don't know if I would say he's ignorant. He just is leading the country in a direction you may not favor. Tim, I know you will be crying, says Pobot, if Trump passes away. Look, I don't want any president to meet an untimely demise. Andy, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Speaking of which, continue on with the program. Robert Kennedy, what are the policy, statutes, or codes that Trump has passed that benefits all of America? Well, all of America, that's a good, well, securing the border. Timothy Travis, some would suggest that securing our nation's border protects all Americans. Andy, good evening.
Hello. I don't know why they are picking on you for that outfit, because real men wear pink. It shows that they are not scared. They don't care what other people think of them. It shows confidence. Not to mention, pink was the masculine male color all the way up till 1947.
Is that true? I did not know that.
That is true.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're so hung up on about your clothes. You look very spiffy there, sir.
Thank you.
Just don't worry about those men who are worried about the colors in your clothes. Us women, we look at that and think that means strength.
Thank you. Always a winner in the crowd. I appreciate that, Andy, because I've been getting hammered since I started the show. So
Yeah, but those were all from men. Women weren't telling you that.
that's a good point. Wow. I gotta have more women on. I feel better now. I gotta have more women on the program. Thank you.
And I want to tell you, if Trump is going to Hungary, he is going to get bombarded by more than just Putin.
What do you mean?
There'll also be Viktor Orban and the Heritage Foundation, because the Heritage Foundation's sister organization, who helped them write Project 2025 to turn us into a one-party Christian nation, just like Hungary, is the Danube Institute.
Is Hungary ran based on religion like that?
Yeah, we're following their blueprint exactly. They took away the democratic norms, and it's exactly what the Heritage Foundation's doing. See, look, there are people in the comments that know. The Danube Institute is our version of the Heritage Foundation, and they have been friends, buddy, for years. And they did it to Hungary first to see if it would work, and now that it has, they're doing it to us. And Republicans are listening and thinking that's a good thing. This is why Donald Trump said during the debate that he was, that he thought highly of Viktor Orban.
Yeah, he spoke high. But do you think, this whole notion of turning us into a one-party, basically religious country, pro-Christianity, or Christians the only true religion type country, can it be stopped? Is this something that can be turned around?
I hope so, because did you hear Donald Trump saying, I want y'all all to live like Charlie Kirk? What, he wants us all to be a bunch of hypocritical racists? Because that's what I heard when he said it, but I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant.
Well, it could have meant he wants everyone to, give their life to the Lord.
Yeah, but I've read the new emails from the young Republicans. Is that what all that Yahtzeeism is?
Well, they're going to suggest, J.D.
I don't
Vance.
think God has anything to do with this. I don't think God and sea nationalism have one thing in common. Because God and Jesus wanted to feed the hungry and take care of the poor. And the Bible literally says, what you do to the least of thee is what you do to me.
Well,
Ain't nothing Christian about their shit. Ain't nothing Christ-like about them. They are name Christian and name only.
so you're saying
Can't,
they are CNOs, Christian in name only. I mean,
can't spell red hat without hate, can you?
I've been seeing that. I mean, because obviously red hat is in hater and all in that same term. But in regards to living a life like Charlie Kirk, and you suggesting that Charlie Kirk is a racist, my viewers ask all the time, what has Charlie Kirk ever said for you to claim that he's racist?
Oh, let's think about all the things he said about the beautiful black women who are more intelligent than that motherfucker will ever be.
But if you say that you don't think that Michelle Obama or Letitia James or some of these folks are intelligent, how does that make you racist, though?
Did you hear him say that about white women? I didn't. I just heard him picking on black women, which I didn't like.
I mean, I'm sure he
No,
doesn't.
stop. We know that he is, because look at his followers. You know, there's a reason why. One of my friends told me, who used to be in Turning Point USA, the reason he quit and became a Democrat was because all of the supremacy groups kept trying to break into their shows. And it was a constant deal with them with the supremacy groups all through their ranks. So you can't tell me when people that are in their organization coming out saying that, y'all can say whatever you want to, but I believe the people that were in the organization. I believe it when I see Nick Fuentes carrying around, the Yahtzee flag. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Well, how about this? Because I got folks in my comments, Bluegill Buster saying caller is full of shit. And Sheldon Wall says she is about to take Charlie Kirk's comments out of context. Once again, asking me to push you.
I don't really give two shits about Charlie.
Well,
Charlie's not the problem. Trump is the problem. Trump's lying is the problem. Trump going to Hungary to listen to Vladimir Putin and Viktor Orban is a problem because they're getting marching orders because he's taking the marching orders from the Heritage Foundation because Viktor Orban and Putin are buddy-buddy. This all goes back to Russia. And every time they say, oh, Russia was a hoax, I just look at them like they're stupid.
But I get you don't. You said you're not concerned with Charlie Kirk. I mean, the late Charlie Kirk, he is gone. But how do you respond to some folks? I got a whole comment section full of folks who are suggesting
I don't care about them.
You're taking his words out of context.
I'm not. How do you take hating on people out of context? Tell me what he's ever said positive about the black community. I'll wait.
Well, some would suggest that he's just pointing out flaws in the community.
Say that again.
I said some were suggesting that he is just pointing out some flaws within the black community.
No, he needs to mind his business. How about he point out the flaws in his community? How about he point out the flaws that 69% of political violence is done by the right? How about he point out that it is pale, mediocre males who are responsible for most of the mass pew-pewings? If he wants to point out some flaws, let him start at fucking home.
Pale, mediocre males. Okay. Let me ask you something else we were talking about. Kind of a change of subjects a little bit. Now, I don't know if you heard me during the monologue where I talked about Hamas executing Palestinians, suggesting that they're treasonous and they're taking them out because the penalty for treason and penalty for being a traitor and working with Israel is death. And now we got the Trump administration regularly blowing up boats and killing people on television just like Hamas did, suggesting that the penalty for bringing drugs in America is death. Now, folks...
First of all, we don't know that that's what's on any of those boats because we didn't send out the Coast Guard to find out. Now, did we? Had they been anywhere near where we could have sent the Coast Guard, like in our territory, not in somebody else's territory, that would be different. But Donald Trump's just out here committing acts of war everywhere.
Well, if they are bringing in drugs to this country, fentanyl that could kill lots of Americans, is that really an act of war?
Yeah, it is, because they're not in our territory. Those boats weren't. Did you see how small those boats were? They're going to come 1,200 miles.
Yeah.
All those people. Now, aren't hug boats generally like pushed out the, people things so they could go faster in the water so they can carry more merchandise? I'm not saying I know, but this is the general premise is what I understand. Nothing about those boats look like hug boats.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It would be hard to imagine any of those boats that were destroyed making it all the way to America on its own volition. I mean, there's no way that boat can carry enough fuel to make
He
it.
just assumes we're so stupid that we will believe him. And some of the country is so stupid that they believe him. And that is the problem. Because those of us who have a brain in our head go, that's not the way you do that. Way too many people on that boat, wrong kind of boat, wrong kind of fuel,
Yeah.
way too far away. I mean, none of it makes sense. He's lost his mind.
So are you suggesting that MAGA that sees these boats being blown off the coast of Venezuela, believing it could make it 1,700 miles, are you suggesting that MAGA is stupid?
Yes, absolutely. I say they failed math and science. Because if you know anything about those two subjects, you would know those boats are not bringing jack shit here. Not with all those people sitting on the side there, not.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to agree with you. It is hard to imagine that. I mean, probably without at least 2 or 3 fuel stops, that boat is not going to make it. It's just the distance is too great.
And on top of that, one of the countries came out and said that they were actual Tonga citizens. Now, like Tonga is going to be able to do anything to us, but they're actually saying those were our people. What are y'all doing?
I know Colombia did that. The president of Colombia said one of those boats that Trump blew up had Colombian citizens on it. And then it had nothing to do with drug dealing.
Not even in our territory, though. Not even in the realm of possibility for it being legal for us to do that. We have boundaries. You know, they're always talking about borders and borders. They always want to bitch about the border. But when it comes to somebody else's border, they don't give 2 fucks.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point with us being down there doing that because, like I said, I don't see it. But in the comments, the handsome conservative says, I'm suggesting that you guys, talking about the Democrats, are going to lose the next election because you don't learn your lesson.
Is that why y'all have lost every special election except for 2 that has happened since the like y'all won't even swear in the last Democrat? What are y'all talking about? Because y'all are afraid she's going to release the Epstein files. Y'all got to be joking down here in the comments. Y'all Republicans, y'all are losing your ass. And Democrats, it's only going to get stronger from here on out. So y'all might need to pay attention because the minute y'all start gerrymandering those states, you telling us you're scared. You would not be gerrymandering the fuck out of Texas if you weren't scared of Democrats.
That's a good point. But who does the Democrats have that could put up a competitive challenge? Because you're going to essentially be running against Trump again.
We're not running for president. We're running for Congress. And Congress, Republican Congress, has taken a knee. And they ain't done no work. And they're letting Donald Trump commit all these fucking war crimes. And they're not stopping him. So do you think the American people who he's hurting and Republicans who he's hurting are going to continue to vote for this shit? Because even in Alabama, like I told you, they ran a Republican damn lawmaker out of his own town hall calling him a fucking liar. And that was in Republican red-ass Alabama. So if he can't hold their own in Alabama, how the hell is he going to get the rest of the country?
But you don't think Alabama is at risk of going blue, do you? Or even purple?
No, but it's the third blue now. And if they pull off the rest of the gerrymandering the way they're supposed to, we would be half and half. And Alabama in 2000 had a Democratic governor.
Wait. You're saying that if Alabama...
In the year 2000, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia all had Democratic governors. Did you know that?
In 2000. Who ran it? Well, that's Bush's year. That's when Al Gore ran, right?
Right. And the only reason they switched was because of 9/11 and the country became more security minded, and then they turned red. But before that, Dr. Will Boyd for governor in Alabama. That's right. That's right, Billy. Good job.
Alabama, huh? Well, that's been 26 years ago, just about. So that's a whole generation ago.
But don't say never, because a lot of people in Alabama is a non-voting state. Did you know that? Only 30% of the population vote.
Is that due to education?
They make it so hard for us to vote. It's such a pain in the ass that only 30% of the entire state votes.
That's not due to education?
No, generally it's due to Jim Crow 2.0. We get to vote on one day on a Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. No early voting, no after voting, no mail in your ballot voting. Alabama says, 12 hours is all you get, and they don't give you the day off, and everybody has to work.
Wow. And obviously that's
privacy in voting in some parts of Alabama. I didn't have any privacy where I voted.
I'm kind of wondering why the people of Alabama don't push back against that. All right, Andy.
Some of them do.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean, obviously under President Trump, he's heading in that direction too with getting rid of mail-in voting, and Trump kind of appears to want to limit the amount of time you get to vote as well. So
Hold on. No, sir. I did not just list on how you cannot cheat for voting. Allowing people time to vote means that you actually give a shit about the people's vote. You all don't want anybody to have time to vote because that's the cheating. Because you all know if you give time people to vote, you won't win. So when you hem it up like that intentionally, you are saying, I am afraid of the Democratic Party because I'm afraid to let them come out and vote. Because I'm afraid my ass will lose.
higher voter turnout does work better for Democrats. There's no denying that. So
Right.
I
They
don't
don't want anybody to vote because they're chicken shit. This is my problem with Republicans. Republicans want to say that Democrats cheat, but realistically, it is them that have Jim Crow 2.0 all over the fucking country. It is them that are so afraid of the Democratic Party that they're willing to gerrymander the hell out of their states, which may actually backfire on them.
that will
So I'm just waiting because to me it is ridiculous that Republicans throw such a bitch fit while being so incredibly hypocritical and wrong.
All right, Andy. Appreciate you coming through. Good talk.
And like I said, you rock that shirt. Fuck what those men say. Have a good one.
I
Dan.
love you. I love you. Thank you very much. That made my day. Let me go back to the box. Finally, somebody is not tripping on the threads. Tap the screen. Lot of lazy thumbs in here. 36. What the fuck? Tap. We should have been around 60,000 by now. Is the programming that bad? Maybe we need to end this one prematurely. Maybe this live sucks. I get it. Tap the screen. We should have been at least at 50. FIDDY. We should have been at least at 50. I'm on vacation and I can't get 50,000. Tap the screen. Did Andy Lee? Yes, you just dropped there. I appreciate that hat and mustache there. Bryce. Appreciate that. Help your boy get that TikTok, not TikTok, but the hat and mustache goal. Halfway there. Thank you. My thumbs have blisters, says Cool Arrow. Well, Cool Arrow, I appreciate you taking one for the team. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 50. She can't be trusted. She likes your shirt, says Veneman. So because the last caller liked my shirt, that makes her have no credibility. Yikes. Thank you, Real Talk and Dame. Thank you. Appreciate you, folks. Dems are scared. Democrats are the scared ones, says the savior. Why do you think they let illegals vote? Because they don't know the truth. I wish I could see more evidence of illegal immigrants voting. I'm just going to say myself, if President Trump in 2015, since he came down the golden escalator, has been talking about so many illegal immigrants voting. Since 2015, what is this, 2025? Trump has been president 5 years of that. I wish he could show a bunch of illegal immigrants he's caught and had prosecuted for voting. I mean, all these Republican states, where are all the incarcerations? If all of these illegal immigrants have been voting, why haven't you caught any of them? It would make the argument a lot more credible. Because one illegal immigrant voting is not going to change any election, for one. So obviously you mean that there's been a bunch of illegal immigrants voting. I really wish we could see some actual credibility by showing us some folks that have been caught and prosecuted. If Trump claims he won the 2020 election by a landslide and the illegal immigrants were voting in the 2020 election. He was president for 2 months and at least 2 weeks after the 2020 election was over with, because he didn't leave office until January 20th of the following year. Where are all the prosecutions? Show us a few folks that are being, because I don't understand how somebody entering this country illegally, trying to stay under the radar so that they don't get deported, would actually show up to a polling place and vote. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I personally am someone who migrated to another country And I was not interested in their elections. And I enjoy dealing with politics. I was not interested in trying to vote when I got to that country. And I was there legally. I was not interested in doing that. I cannot imagine an illegal immigrant coming to this country and risking it all by showing up to a polling place, something you get so little in return for that you could lose your entire being in this country. I wish there was evidence of people doing it. It would make it a lot more believable as opposed to just yelling it out. Same thing with the DEI thing. You heard Charlie Kirk. You hear folks on the right always talking about DEI, people getting jobs that they don't have the merit for. I really wish they could actually show some people. Actually, give us a pilot that crashed because he never had any business flying the airplane, or some train engineer that only got the job because he was gay or black or something, and here he is, done ran off the tracks and, spilled a lot of cargo. I really wish there was some actual evidence to put on this stuff. Just yelling out shit with no evidence. Anyway, looking in the comments, how about the 10 million that Biden let in? The Democrats' plan was to stay in power and make them legal, therefore winning future elections. Now, Sheldon, I do believe there's some possible validity to that the Democrats were being friendly to letting immigrants in this country because they know down the line that those immigrants are likely going to vote Democrat once they become legal. I do agree with that because brown people from all backgrounds, south of the border, south, the southern continent, South America, folks from Africa, African American, brown people overwhelmingly vote Democrat. But as opposed to just pointing that out, why don't the Republican Party address why do so many brown people avoid your party? Okay, if Biden let in illegal immigrants and they become legal 10 years down the line, why do the Democrats automatically assume they're going to vote Democrat? What is it about the Republican Party that even Republicans are not saying, well, once they become legal, they're going to vote for us? Even the Republican Party is acknowledging once these people become legally, once they become legal, they're voting Democrat. Perhaps that's something in the Republican Party that needs to be addressed. Why does diversity avoid the Republican Party so much? Anyway, continuing on, Democrats are so lazy. Easy Google search which states don't require an ID to vote. Well, not requiring an ID to vote does not automatically equate to a bunch of illegal immigrants showing up to vote. Big difference, big difference. If you leave your door unlocked, that don't mean people are going to break in your house. If you don't need an ID to vote, you can't just automatically jump up and assume that people that are not here legally are going to vote, and then you have to assume they're going to vote Democrat. This was the problem with 2,000 Mules. Are we at 50,000? Tap the screen. I'll take the next caller. We're almost there. This was the problem with 2,000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza. We did like a half dozen shows on it. Is that it shows that Trump won the 2020 election if you make all sorts of assumptions that you have no proof for. Ballot harvesting or stuffing ballot boxes. Okay, you can show that somebody has been coming by this ballot box at 3 a.m. voting over and putting ballots in there over and over again. Okay, that don't look right. But you can't show that they're doing it in favor of the Democratic Party. And this is where the claims that President Trump and many on the right made fall apart, and why I strongly believe he did not win any of his court cases. In fact, a lot of the judges, when he was claiming the 2020 election was stolen, didn't even listen to it. Because the only way this stuff works is you gotta add assumptions to it. Dominion voting machines could be hacked into. So we're gonna assume that they were hacked into without any proof, and we're gonna assume that the hackers did it on behalf of the Democratic Party without any proof. Just because the machines can be hacked into does not equate to they were hacked into, and they were hacked into in favor of the Democrats. And when you go to court and you got to show all of that, the Trump administration doesn't have that. And that's on a whole lot of things. Dead people voted. Okay, can you prove that they voted for Democrats, though? How do you know somebody that died was not represented by somebody that voted Republican? So the only way it works is you add all these assumptions, which means that Democrats cheat and Republicans are inherently honest. because every method that they accuse the Democrats of using could have been used by a Republican. We just assume Republicans are honest, and Democrats are the only side that cheats. That's not going to work in court. You're not going to get it. You're not going to go to court with a bunch of assumptions. You got to prove that what you said happened, and it happened on behalf of Biden. And there's just no proof of that. Dead votes or, ballots in rivers, any of that. You got to prove what's on that ballot. All of the stuff you're naming could actually have been done by somebody who did it in favor of the Republican Party. You can't just assume it was done in favor of the Democrats. And that's why they didn't take his case. But anyway, continuing on, we'll go back to the box. We'll go to MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. MAGA has DDS, demented delusional syndrome. That's a new one, Richard. Good evening, MAGA.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Off the bat, all these illegal immigrants they let in, the census counts them as a resident of, like, say, California, which gives them more votes in Congress just because it increases their population. So as they're losing Americans to Florida, they're replacing them with, illegal immigrants, which do count toward the census, which counts toward their...
But a whole lot of if you look at the location of illegal immigrants, a lot of them are in red states. Texas had a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, well, Texas is kicking them out. California is.
Oh, yeah, but that's not in the 2020 election. That's something that's happening now. Trump claims the 2020 election, he won because of this stuff.
Yeah. And then as for the jerry-rigging, I think they're just countering the jerry-rigging the Democrats already did. Because, the Congress should be, like, close to what the Senate looks like. So if we got plus 3 or 4 seats in the Senate, we should have an equal percentage in Congress. But because of jerry-rigging, it's only like a 2 or 3 seats where it should be.
Well, when you say Congress should look like the Senate, Congress is being rigged too.
Well, Congress is the only one that can be rigged. The Senate can't be rigged because it's the entire state. It never changes. But Congress is what you gerrymander. And the fact that it doesn't look like the Senate tells me it's gerrymandered toward the Democrats. If it looked like the Senate, it would be fair. It would be gerrymandering would be balanced.
I don't know if I agree that Congress is gerrymandered toward the Democrats. So we could have a long conversation on that, but I won't go into it.
What do you think gerrymandering is? You play with the map to control your seats in Congress.
Yeah, I heard that North Carolina is almost like 50% minority and 50% white, yet the state's government is overwhelmingly red. That's gerrymandering.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm just saying there's probably more gerrymandering on the blue side, where other states overall, most states are like 50-50. But there's like a small percentage that gives the one side the lead over the other.
I don't think Montana is 50-50 or Idaho or Vermont I don't agree with that.
Look, whatever the case is, like, it should match the Senate, because if these states are all voting for these senators and we have this many senators, why is Congress looking different than the Senate?
Well, I mean, you're talking only 2 senators per state. I mean, there are some states that have a really diverse population, but it's only in a city, and most of the remaining part of that state is red or is white or lacks diversity.
Yeah, but there's enough diversity in voters where the senator they picked was a Republican one. That same diversity in voters should give them an equal amount of Congress people.
I think 2 things throw your argument off. One being they normally wait every 10 years to make their gerrymandering based on the census. And Trump had it done in Texas. They done it in 2021, I think, or 2022, and now they're doing it again less than 3 or 4 years later. That's something that normally doesn't happen. The second thing is Trump got involved. You don't normally, when it comes to gerrymandering, you don't normally have a president publicly state, I need 5 more seats in your city. That goes, everything you're talking about, that goes against that. You don't normally have a president telling a state, get me 5 more seats.
I mean, the DNC and RNC are always involved one way or another.
This ain't the same, though. We're talking about the president, not the DNC and RNC. We're talking about the president.
I'm saying they're always involved. It's just you normally don't hear about it because most people don't care. You know.
Well, once he spoke out and said something. Okay, well, once he spoke out and said something about it, it became different. That is not something that normally happens where a president is making. And by the way, Trump is the president that often talks about rigged elections. Here he is saying, I want to make it so that I get 5 more seats regardless of how the people vote. Is he not rigging the election in Texas?
No, because we already own Texas. It's like he's not doing it in a state that's blue and he's trying to switch it to red. This is a red state, and he's just trying to get it to represent what it is. So red state.
So why not take them all? So why not take them all?
That state was plus 15% red. Yet, the Congress seats are probably separated evenly or something.
So why not? So in other words, because Texas is already red, if he said, I want to make it so I get every seat in Texas to vote for me, you don't see that as rigged?
Well, if it's every seat, I would say it's super rigged. I mean, it's always going to be rigged. It's like, how rigged is it? But if it's only 5 seats out of like the 45 that Texas get, that's decent. But if he does all of them, then I would be with you on that one.
So what makes you stop at 5?
Because I know Illinois and these other states are just as rigged, especially like California. It's probably just as rigged.
Okay, so Illinois and California is rigged in your opinion, so it's okay for Trump to then rig Texas. So you're admitting that what Trump is doing is rigging an election. You're giving a defense for why he's doing it, but you are admitting he's rigging an election.
Yeah, no one's denying that gerrymandering doesn't exist. We all know it's a part of life. Both sides gerrymander. And I'm just telling you, the map is more gerrymandered toward blue. Because the Democrats are unpopular as fuck, yet, they only have, the Democrats are unpopular as fuck, yet we only have 3 seats over them in Congress. That shouldn't be. We should have won in Congress just like we won in the Senate, just like we won in the presidency.
Maybe it's because of Republicans.
We're not winning in Congress.
Maybe it's because the Republicans are equally unpopular as fuck.
That's not what I see from the polls. That's not what I saw from the last election. Trump should have had way more coattails. The House should have looked. I mean, for him to win so much in Senate and then the presidency and look how well he did in New York. That's
but you need to realize things have changed over the last 8 or 9 months. I mean, he's doing a lot of things that people did not expect him to do. So a lot of his support.
For the last 8 or 9 months, but this is election results of 2024, a year ago.
Right. And what I'm saying is,
but Congress was jerry-rigged for the Democrats. That's why I know it's jerry-rigged for the Democrats, because he should have definitely done a lot better in Congress.
You're the first I've ever heard say that. But anyway, let me ask you what the actual topic is. We talked about Hamas and I wanted to get, Hamas. I don't know if you've seen the video of Hamas executing Palestinians on video. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard about it?
Just right here listening to you.
Okay. Now, Hamas executed some of its own citizens, suggesting that they were working with the Israelis. So they executed Palestinians and filmed it on video. I'm asking, what is the difference between them doing that without giving those Palestinians any due process at all or providing any actual evidence of why they took them out? What's the difference between that and what Trump is doing with the boats off the coast of Venezuela? He is executing people, no due process, and providing no proof for what he is doing.
Well, first of all, the water thing is international water. It's not the waters of Venezuela or Colombia.
What does that mean?
And the fact that this boat in the middle of the water near Venezuela has Colombians on it tells me it's a drug boat.
What? What if it's a boat that? What if it's a boat that just strayed off course?
Oh, that's pretty far to go. Listen,
but even if what you're saying is true, what does America have to do if a Venezuelan boat has strayed into Colombian territory? That's still hundreds of miles from America. Why is America killing the people?
Because the final destination of the drugs is America.
How do you know?
Because they're the number one place we're the number one customer for drugs, for merchandise for a lot of stuff.
So there's no Venezuelan drugs going into Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua. Nobody else is using them.
Look, I don't have the intelligence, and neither do you. I just, when it comes to drugs, I don't see a reason for him to lie about this. There's a lot of things I could give you that Trump's probably lying to manipulate the situation, but to attack a random drug boat, and like, why? Well, what does this benefit him?
If you don't see a reason for Trump to lie and attack a random boat, maybe some would say there's no reason for Hamas to lie and attack a random Palestinian.
Well, no, they're probably losing power in Palestine. They're probably worried about their power over there, and that's why they're. Oh, by the way, like,
and you don't believe that Trump is using his. You don't believe that Trump is using his power in America?
But this is not America. This is off the coast of Venezuela.
His power in the region, his power on the planet.
Yeah, he's trying to scare drug dealers into not selling drugs to America.
How do you know they're drug dealers?
Because even if they're not drug dealers, by showing drug dealers what he's willing to do to them if he catches them, you're not gonna be scared if you're a drug dealer, and even if that's an innocent boat, if you're a drug dealer and you're shipping, drugs, you're not gonna be afraid that America's just gonna blow you up without warning.
So he may have killed innocent people to deliver a message of fear to drug dealers.
I'm not saying they're innocent. They're probably drug dealers.
Why are you saying they're probably?
Scared if I was a drug dealer.
But you're killing people based on a probably.
Listen, he says he has the intelligence, and I don't see a reason for him to lie about that. Okay, I know you guys wish it was a certain way, but I see no reason for him to lie about that boat having drugs.
Do you see any reason for him not to give them due process?
Because it's international water. There's no due process in international water.
That's where it most should be. You're telling me if you're in international water, you can just kill people that you don't have to give them due process?
Yeah, like those pirates we killed. We kill pirates off the coast of South Africa all the time.
You only kill pirates when they're really within range. What are you talking about?
To give them due process.
What are you talking about? If you're in international waters with some kind of cargo ship, and you can literally off the bow of your vessel see people approaching you armed with AK-47s or something, that's a big difference than traveling hundreds of miles to kill people with high-tech weapons that are nowhere near you.
Like, I don't know what to say about this.
Yeah, you do. You just don't want to.
I'm just telling you my point of view. If I had all the intelligence, I would just show you the intelligence. I mean, hopefully in 25 years, we'll have a Freedom of Information Act and we'll find out what intelligence they had, Let
me ask it to you this way. Do you believe Trump has any other option, or is killing these people the only option he has?
I'm sure there might be other options, but this is probably the simplest and easiest way. And like I said, this is going to scare drug dealers into, not shipping drugs. They're gonna be scared that a fucking airplane out of nowhere is gonna kill them.
So you're using murder as a fear tactic.
I mean, it's a very good one. Stop dealing drugs or we'll kill you is a very good scare tactic.
You do realize that you're defining the definition of terrorism. Terrorism is defined as doing things to scare people. You're basically calling America terrorist.
I mean, they're terrorists to drug dealers. I'm okay with that. They're not being terrorists to, innocent people. They're terrorizing drug dealers.
If you're killing innocent people to scare the drug dealers, you are terrorists to innocent people.
Look, I'm not saying if they are innocent, then I agree with you. But if they're not innocent, then no. I'm just saying the drug dealers are going to get the message no matter what. And I prefer them to be actual drug dealers. I don't want them to be innocent people. I don't want him killing innocent people.
Would you prefer you actually get the confirmation of what he's claiming?
I mean, I don't need confirmation on everything American does. Like,
we're murdering people, MAGA. Okay,
America does.
You're murdering people. Do you not want confirmation that the people you're murdering deserve to be killed?
I mean, I hope they have it. I don't need it as a citizen, but the people in charge of a government hopefully have it, and whoever is overseeing them will keep them in check.
So if President Trump murders someone and tells you that person deserved to be murdered, you don't need any proof that he's telling the truth at all.
I mean, it depends on the person, but
what do you mean by that? What do you mean depends on the person? Explain that.
On a boat.
Explain what do you mean? You said depends on the person. Explain that. What do you mean?
Like if he kills fucking what's his name, Bernie Sanders, and he says Bernie Sanders was a terrorist or some shit, I'm gonna need proof that Bernie Sanders was a terrorist. But if it's some random Colombian in the waters of Venezuelan, you know, probably shipping drugs, because what else would Colombians be in those waters other than, you know, shipping drugs?
Maybe fishing to feed their people?
They would be in Venezuelan water. I wish I had a map in front of me. I don't know how close Colombia is to Venezuela.
I believe they border each other.
I gotta check. But the fact that they were Colombians on that boat tells me that Trump wasn't lying, that they're probably drug dealers.
And I see Franklin, famous F says they're into. So you're essentially saying that if it's a country known for dealing drugs, you would support basically Trump killing people with impunity. If your country is known for dealing drugs and Trump kills somebody from your country, I'm going to automatically give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, no, I'm just telling.
That is what you said.
From what I've seen, I don't think he's being malicious here. I think that they're actually drug dealers.
Wouldn't you rather know as opposed to having to think when you just admitted that he could easily do other options other than kill people? Wouldn't you rather know it?
I mean, I'm not I guess, yeah, of course I'd rather know. But in the meantime, from the evidence I have, it seems like they're drug dealers.
Okay.
And they are next to each other, so I'll give you that.
And when Colombia, the president of Colombia states publicly to the world audience that one of the boats Trump blew up was his citizens and the people were not drug runners, do we assume the Colombian president is lying?
Yeah, because he has a reason to lie.
What reason does he have to make this up?
Because he doesn't want to be known for drug dealing. He doesn't want his people to be known for drug dealing.
So if you give him
the reputation of his people.
So then we go back to what I originally stated. Based on you believing Trump in no country that is known for dealing drugs, you're basically giving Trump the right to kill people down there with impunity because you're not going to believe them. You're going to believe Trump.
I mean, if it gets out of hand, I'd like more evidence. But at this point, one or two boats, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, unless you can prove me otherwise. You
said one or two boats. We're at like 7. He's blowing them up every week. What is your definition of getting out of hand?
Basically 1,000 or more people dying. I don't know, man. I need proof that they weren't drug boats. Have they given any proof to that?
He needs to take out 1,000 or more people before you finally say, let's investigate what's going on.
I wish I had more proof to support your point.
I wish you had more proof to dispel my point. I wish you had more proof to make a sound decision either way. But the fact is, our president is murdering people and not giving us any evidence at all.
I mean, well, we don't need evidence for everything he does. That's not how America works.
He's committing a murder a week. He's literally killing a few people every week and providing no evidence. What is your definition of getting out of hand?
Basically starting a war with Colombia. If he's going to go to war with Colombia, it depends. From what I've seen, this hasn't escalated to something where I'd like more evidence.
I'll tell you this.
It's an area known for dealing drugs. It's not like he's going to Madagascar and killing some boats off Madagascar and saying they're drug boats. This is where our drugs come from. So it's an area known for drugs. He's got the intelligence of the U.S. military and the CIA and all that to figure out if these boats have drugs in them or not. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
He has the CIA and all this intelligence to provide us evidence too, don't he? There's a reason. You don't blow up 7 boats without providing any evidence at all. Does that tell you that maybe there may not be any evidence that you're on your 7th boat and you can't show evidence that these are drug runners from any of these boats?
He might have an informant that he doesn't want killed, that he wants more, There's the reason we have classified files. There's secret methods and secret informants that we don't want to lose, that we want to protect.
Okay,
So
I tend to think
25 years later, not the next day. You have to wait 25 years, and then you could find out.
And I see RGB says, "Get this knees pleaser off the line." So someone reverse you.
Look, I'm not an expert in Colombian drug boats, and neither is the last caller. So maybe we should just let it be until we have evidence otherwise.
If I'm Trump, I like guys like you because you're not holding me accountable. You just assume whatever I'm doing is legitimate, even if I'm murdering people.
To see the results,
You're not asking. You're not going to ask the results. Your response is, "Why would I lie?" You're automatically giving me the benefit of the doubt.
It depends on the subject. Like the economy right now, I'm giving him some leeway, but in 3 more months or 4 more months, like come next year, if the economy isn't better, then he's gonna lose my support.
MAGA, we're talking about murder.
No.
We're talking about murder, MAGA. You're giving them leeway on murder.
But you haven't proved to me that these boats are not drug boats.
That's
At most, we're talking what if. But I've had no proof either way.
That's my point. As long as somebody cannot prove that I'm murdering innocent citizens, you're going to give me the benefit of the doubt that the people deserve to be murdered.
I mean, if you had the power of the CIA behind you, yes, I would give you the benefit of the doubt.
Did you ever hear about the weapons of mass destruction?
What's up?
Did you ever hear about the weapons of mass destruction? They had the power of the CIA behind them.
Exactly. I supported that too until we got evidence to the contrary. Until we invaded and we found none, then that was evidence that they were lying. There's no evidence that these people are lying right now. But in 3 years or 4 years, if we realize, they were lying because we get evidence, because we got evidence that there were no WMDs. We found no WMDs. That was evidence that there was no WMDs.
There's no way to get evidence if you blow up everything in the boat, man.
I mean, we blew up Iraq. I mean, okay, but still, I need evidence that these boats are innocent. I know it's hard to prove, but, what do you want me to do?
I want you to demand more from your government. How about that? I want you to demand more. I don't want you to blindly trust somebody that is killing people every week before your eyes. I want you to demand more as a citizen from your government.
I'm not blindly trusting. What I'm doing is I'm giving him rope to either I'm letting him off the leash to either do a good job or to hang himself with the rope. So in a couple of months, I mean, you guys are like, he's like doing such a shitty job, but it's still his first year. We're not talking about the economy. We're talking about murdering people. Okay. I mean, what if they're drug dealers?
Why don't we know that for sure is the point I'm making.
Because we're not the ones making the decision.
But you already admitted, you already clearly admitted that he could do this in a way that did not involve murdering people. You admitted that.
Wait, how would he do it without murdering people? He would have to have our Navy go all the way to Colombia and catch these people. I mean, what do you want him to do otherwise?
I want him to try everything before murdering somebody.
No, we've been trying it the other way for so many years. He gets at least a year to try it his way. If he succeeds, he succeeds. If he fails, then he's gonna lose his Congress and Senate in 2 years, and they're gonna lose the presidency in 4. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna succeed, because even if he does a bad job, the other side is so weak. I don't think they're ever gonna win anything again.
Right.
I mean, they're bragging about winning special elections that nobody votes in special elections.
So in other words, the Democrats are doing so bad that we would stick with the murderer before voting for them.
Because he's still doing a lot of good things, We got the ceasefire in Palestine. We're probably going to get a ceasefire in Ukraine soon.
I gotta go. MAGA, Appreciate you coming on.
He's working nonstop. That's why we're not talking about the shutdown. We're talking about all this other shit because he's constantly working. So he's going to get good results because he works hard. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Appreciate you coming on. Now, I actually asked him, is the Democrats are doing such a bad job that we're going to stick with the murderer? And he said, because he's doing other good things. So as long as you're doing other good things, it's okay to be murdering people. That was literally his response. Well, because he's doing other good things, we'll stick with the murderer. Anyway, tap the screen, get us on up to 65,000. Where do these people come from, says Ritterbug, I think that says they come from, listen, he's a voter, he's a constituent. That is MAGA. Jermaine75, appreciate the support. Thank you, Jermaine. Absolutely makes the day while your boy's on vacation. Says MAGA makes my head hurt. And your comment is being echoed by some of the other folks on all three platforms. We're currently on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and of course we're on YouTube. I'm on vacation, that's why the background is different for anybody who might be asking. I'm holed up at an Airbnb, so I'm on vacation. That's why I'm in the volunteer state, hundreds of miles from home, but says, makes my head hurt too. I see a lot of folks follow your comment up as well, Jermaine, say, yeah, makes my head hurt as well. And listen, if President Trump is defending America's border from dangerous narcotics like fentanyl from entering the country and things like that, I'm all for it. I would give President Trump credit for doing that. But just blowing up boats, showing us footage of people dying without showing us any evidence, you can, if you want to, listen, if you got people who have lost their children to drug abuse and overdosing and things like that, it would make them very happy to show them a boat being blown up and say, see, these are people that would have done the same thing that happened to your child to others. Folks like that, based on the emotion of what they've dealt with, they're just going to assume the boat has drug dealers on it. But sober, sane folks like us should ask questions. Like I told my last caller, demand more from your government. It's pretty, if all of this intel shows you they're bringing drugs, it's pretty easy if you track them down to this boat that you know where they came from. Okay, so you know the warehouse they came from. You can't do a raid on that warehouse and show us some product. Never in America's history, at least that I know of, maybe I'm wrong, you guys can correct me in the comments, but I'm not aware that dealing drugs was ever a capital punishment on its own. Even if you sell someone drugs, what is the guy name that used to play on the show Friends, died of an overdose? I can't think of the guy's name. Somebody let me know in the comments. He was a star on the television show Friends, the sitcom. He actually overdosed. They ended up catching the person that sold him the lethal cocktail. They didn't execute the person. Whitney Houston, I believe they caught the person that sold her drugs. Now, the doctor actually gave Michael Jackson drugs and killed him directly. Was in the house with Michael Jackson, the pop star. When he died of the drugs, he gave him propofol, the stuff they give you for anesthesia, for general anesthesia. He administered that drug to Michael Jackson in a residence, which is completely illegal. Completely illegal to give somebody propofol in a residence. Killed him outright. Dude got like 4 years in prison. How the hell does dealing drugs come along with a bomb? We have never done that before. And there are a host of doctors that have overprescribed American citizens lethal cocktails. Never in the history of this country has dealing drugs come with a death sentence on its face. And even if you convict someone with a harsh penalty for dealing drugs, there was always a court case. There was always due process. Trump has skipped the line and went all the way to death without due process. And folks are defending that. Make it make sense. Because I'm comparing it myself to Hamas executing Palestinians for allegedly working with the enemy, being the nation of Israel, without due process. If Hamas doing that on video is wrong and that makes them terrorists, how is President Trump executing voters on television damn near every week now? How does that make him any less? He's not providing due process either. Not to mention he's got to be terrorizing the hell out of boaters off the coast of Venezuela. They're not all dealing drugs. They have fishermen and ferries and things like that, I'm certain, off the coast of Venezuela. Would you want to be? Would you want to be in a boat, even for legitimate purposes right now, off the coast of Venezuela or the coast of Colombia, when you know people are watching you from above, human beings capable of making mistakes? Would you want to be? So I would submit to you that right now America is terrorizing them down in that region, terrorizing mariners in that region. Anyway, looking in the comments, dogs are flowing into the White House. Oh, drugs rather. Freedom Fighter says drugs are flowing. My guess is there's always been drugs in the White House. See, people like this guy on this video is the reason why this country will fail, says Terrence Malone. Terrence, I appreciate your input, appreciate your criticism. You know, we don't mind that. Let me know what am I saying in regards to bombing boaters off the coast of Venezuela that is making you suggest that if we stop bombing them, the whole country is going to fail. America's always had access to narcotics, and we've been a successful country. So let me know what I'm saying that you believe will make the country fail. Jason says, Jason is talking about one of my eyes going to. Anyway, let me go back to the box. Somebody said this was bad. Gangsta Grandma. Good evening, or welcome to the program. Gangsta.
Girly Pop, you look like a fucking damn flamingo, man. A flamingo.
That's
Fat
funny.
ass-
That is funny. That is funny.
Well, the fat ass flamingo.
Okay.
I'll give you props.
I'm not that
Let me tell
fucking
you-
big.
Quit fluffing, man. And you know what? Let me tell you something. You don't even know what drugs and stuff coming over. Those are small ass fishing boats.
Well, the president says they're drugs.
Well, the president kissed my black ass. How about that?
That's-
Man, you guys, you know what? These motherfuckers believe that fucking white team man for everything, a white devil. He ain't shit.
Why
He
do
lies
you?
about every damn thing. And you know what? It's FAFO next month. The fucking damn food stamps ain't gonna be on their cards.
Well, I don't get food stamps, so it's irrelevant to me.
Well, there's other people that get them, that need to feed their kids, that didn't vote for this shit. And I feel bad for them.
Well, maybe he'll bail him out and not cancel SNAP benefits.
Well, I don't know about that. They won't even pay the military.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll give $40 billion to a fucking Argentina. Go fucking figure, right?
Now, let me ask you that. That's a good point, because we're doing a versus show here. Now, folks are suggesting, now I don't agree with this, and I'm sure you don't either, that the Democrats are trying to vote to give illegal immigrants health care, and they don't want.
Here we
But I do want to ask you, what is the difference if you don't want your money going to illegal immigrants to get health care, but it's going to Argentinians?
For one, they're not giving the illegal immigrants anything like that. They cannot do it. ACA cannot do it. It's a federal program. I'm so sick of the uneducated fucking morons.
Well, there
They
is.
are so fucking stupid. They believe the white devil over anything. They're not doing it. It's not even on the website. They cannot get it. He's taking from you, dumb fucks.
Well, there is a little bit of pushback here. What about the notion that if you are an illegal
I know
immigrant,
you always push back, but why didn't you push back on the dumb fuck that was just on before me that gave us a fucking migraine? Oh, they could be fucking druggies. Oh, they could be.
what about if an illegal immigrant experiences a medical emergency and they go to the ER? We do have to treat them, and that's coming out of the
No
tax.
shit, and that happened in the 80s. That was a law from the 80s. And what?
Well, a lot
they
of
have to. It's a law.
a lot of
It
Americans.
happened in the fucking 80s, and they have to treat anybody and everybody with or without insurance. I would want somebody to do that if somebody came in bleeding.
Well, a lot of Americans do not believe if you come to this country illegally, you should get any free health
Well, they
treatment at
accuse
all.
my fucking ass. How about that? It's the law. Go tell Reagan and all them that who did it.
Well, they think it was a bad law.
Well, fuck them. I think being a fucking maggot white man is against the fucking law. They should be shipped back to fucking Europe. I think that's the damn thing. How about that?
They're only voting because they believe that we have a president.
They're only voting because they hate us.
No, they believe.
They hate us. They voted for racism. They knew what this fucking white tea devil was standing for. That's why they hate us. All this shit is because of that. This is one hell of an expensive fucking racism shit.
You think all MAGA hates you?
Yes, they hate black and brown people. What the fuck, Tim? Did you just see all the text messages?
That ain't all. That doesn't. You think those folks that were sending those racist text messages? You think they represent all of MAGA?
Yes, dumbass. Flamingo, get out your feelings. Quit sucking on the white man's cock. Yes, you're dripping, even on vacation.
Do you realize?
Okay?
Do you realize how many MAGA, how many Republicans condemn those text messages?
Let me tell you something. There was thousands of text messages. They called us N-words. They called us N-words. They said they wanted us back in the fields. They wanted us in gas chambers and every damn thing else. I'm so done with the fucking maggots. And now look, it's shut down because who's fighting for them is the blue. Not their own fucking constituents. They don't give a fuck if they have fucking Medicaid or ACA or not going to go through the fucking roof. They don't give a fuck about them.
Well, Rita in the comments says this lady is a hate bag. I mean, some folks are suggesting that what you're doing is preaching hatred yourself.
If the shoe fits, bitch, wear it. You're white tea devil. You are. You voted for this shit. You voted for racism. You are the fucking white tea devil. And what? And what? Motherfuckers don't like the damn truth. They don't. Oh, we're not racist, but we voted for one, right? You walk like a fucking duck. You talk like a fucking duck. You're a fucking duck. Quack, quack.
Now, what about the notion that they voted for Trump because Kamala Harris was a bad candidate?
Coming for what with your fucking ugly black ass? I'm so sick of you saying that for a black woman. For one, she wasn't a fucking bad candidate. She was overqualified. For two, all you doing is kissing a white woman's ass, and that's what you want to fuck. Let's get it twisted. Don't ever knock a black woman down again. Do you remember where the fuck you came from? You didn't come from no white woman.
What does this got to do with white and black? If Kamala Harris was...
Because it is. They didn't vote for her because she wasn't black. Oh, it's the way that some other people didn't vote for her because she wasn't black enough. Some people didn't vote for her because she was a black fucking educated woman. The maggots didn't like that. The white people didn't like that.
Maybe Gangsta Grandma, you might be the one. Robert Kennedy says this bitch should run for office. Democrats would vote for her.
Let me tell you something. You're the biggest kiss ass I ever did fucking see. And I tell you what, if I was on vacation with you, I'd bop you upside your fucking coconut. I don't have a dick case in my fucking ass.
The guy was giving
Negroes like you.
The guy just said, but did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? Robert Kennedy said this bitch should run for office. Democrats would vote for her. He's suggesting that you could win.
I wish I could run for office because I'd be kicking the fucking white tea devils out of the fucking country. And they would go back to where the fuck they came from and give back the country. Hell yeah, I surely would.
I think that you got a real disdain towards white people.
Not all white people. I'm talking about the maggot white people. I'm talking about the triple K white people. I'm talking about even them. They're the white tea devils too. Because you know why? Because they're kissing the ass of house ninjas.
But when you say...
They think they're going to be at their table. And you know what, you fucking trailer trash ass fucking white tea people that voted for him. You voted against your own interests because your food stamps are going to get cut next month. You're not going to get nothing to feed your damn baby kids that pew up our damn schools. You interbred motherfuckers. You're dumb as fuck. And the ones that you guys hate so fucking much are the ones that's fighting for you to get your fucking medicated shit.
And Boost Coyote says, is she missing teeth? Wow.
No, I have a speech impairment because I had a stroke at 8 years old. And what?
Okay. Is it possible that white people voted for Trump just because Biden's economy sucks so bad? Nothing to do with racism?
Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. I know you didn't say that. Biden's economy was so bad. I want Biden's economy back. We are in a shithole right now. The food prices are higher than under Trump than it was under Biden. The beef is 50% higher. The vegetables is 38% higher.
What about the whole notion that under the Democrats, the border was wide open?
Oh my God, the border is open now, you dumb fucks.
That's
What
not
the fuck is drinking? The border is open. Google is fucking free, you dumb fucks. It's never been closed. It's against the Constitution. You dumb fucking rejects. That's why they're special fucking air dropouts. They're interbred motherfuckers. That's what they are. Their brains are so fucked up because they don't know who their mama is because they can be fucking their sisters and every damn thing else.
I don't know why you go off when I say this all the time, but Gangsta Grandma, I think the notion that Kamala Harris was not a good candidate is a very common
They
thought.
only gave her 107 days, and they fucked your ass over. So shut the fuck up about, oh, she was a bad candidate. Yo, orange orangutan that you're just sucking on his cock really hard and dripping his uncooked protein, he's a bad one. He wants to put you in a fucking tree. He don't want your black ass to so anywhere. I know only in the fields. Remember Black Jobs? But you're over there sucking on his cock so deep, you're gagging on it.
That is not what is taking place. Gangsta Buffy Button says, stop trying to impersonate a black woman, Susie Q. Knock it off, hillbilly.
My mom and my father are darker than fucking you. Just because I'm light-skinned, you dumb fuck, don't mean shit. That's why you motherfuckers like us. Because we come in every fucking goddamn shade, bitch. The white man has to burn out on the sun. We don't. All melanin is all beautiful, honey. We come in every fucking shade. Light-skinned, to you blonde hair, blue eyes, you think they white as hell. That's a black woman. To a point that they be dark as hell. We look like chocolate.
Is there
White
anything?
people don't even look like that. You guys burn in the fucking sun.
Is there anything President Trump could do to make you view him in a more positive light?
No. He makes me sick. You know what? Let me tell you something. He totally makes me sick. He's taking away fucking people's food stamps. He's taking away fucking everything for the poor people and giving $40 billion to Argentina while our farmers are fucking hurting because of them, because of him. And they voted for this shit, so I shouldn't even give a fuck about that, but it's gonna hurt the poor people. The poor trailer trash ass white people that's gonna get slammed up, and the fucking kids that don't deserve not to have food in their stomachs, they're gonna get hurt next month. And the kids that go to school are gonna be on empty stomachs, and they won't have free lunch because of him next month.
What about the notion that short-term pain for long-term gain, he was imposing in tariffs and things that hurt the farmers because he wants to bring jobs back to America? In any end, it'll all work out.
He's losing jobs. He ain't bringing shit back. He's losing jobs. None of these motherfuckers are coming back. None of them are. They're laughing at his face.
Folks are making commitments to open up plants in America and bring jobs back.
Biden had commitments, and they just fucked over Georgia. That was Biden's job. Yeah. Biden had a battery plant coming in. That was Biden. Apple was coming in under Biden.
Yeah.
Okay? That was Apple. Apple was coming in for Biden. Let's not get this shit twisted. Okay? You motherfuckers always want to say, oh, that's Trump. No, it's Biden. And they fucked it all up because a white woman thought that they was all illegals and they was all Korean engineers. Dumb fucks.
You talking about the Kia or Hyundai plant?
Hyundai. They brought them over because you know what? You white people over here can't speak a Korean. Duh.
Is he doing anything?
They brought people over here to teach them how to build the damn batteries and stuff, how to read the damn language and show them. But I don't know, you had a white-teeth devil call, oh my God, there's ICE. ICE, go get him. It's going to save us more jobs. It's going to bring in more white jobs. What dumb fuck, you just fucked it all over.
Why they got to be white jobs? He likes black jobs too.
Black jobs in the fields, remember?
What makes you think he want to put...
The Mexicans, he was deporting Mexicans and shit, remember? And he said, they're taking your black jobs. Oh, see, that's how dumb these motherfuckers are.
Has he done anything right by America at all, in your opinion?
Has he, Tim? I mean, you're just sucking deep, balls deep on him. Do you think he's done anything? Fuck no. All you can say with your ugly ass is what, the border. when it's not even fucking closed, man.
I think
I can't with you.
I think you're the only person I've ever heard to suggest that the border is no more secure under Trump than
It's
Biden.
not. Name me one fucking policy that he's done, Tim, that to do the border. Name me a policy. You can't.
It's not.
You can't.
It's not based on the policies. It's based
You
on.
have to have a policy because they tried it, remember? And they told him to knock it off because he had nothing to run on. They was going to do something. They was going to have 5,000 people come in a day or a week or some bullshit. And guess what? They knocked it down. Because why? Because Trump didn't have nothing else to run on.
His executive orders, like Tracy says, Tracy Harris says, Trump is making America great again, like he said he would. MAGA is not.
Okay. Let me tell you about make America great again. That was the fucking German. Okay? That was because they wanted to be whites again, bitch. White. Now, when was America ever great for black and brown people and the natives that was here? When was America ever great? Let me fucking know, because we had Jim Crow. Was that fucking making America great when we didn't have no fucking rights and we couldn't vote?
I don't think.
When was America great for us black asses? Tell me something.
I don't think this conversation was about race.
It was. It is about race, Tim. Make America great was German. Tim?
Is there?
So what are you going to tell me? He wants to make the shit white, and you're sucking on it so damn deep. You forgot you're a black man, huh? And you always want to degrade. You always want to say, oh, Kamala wasn't a good one. But you're sucking on it, don't you?
This has nothing to do with sucking on
yes,
anything.
Yes, it is about race. This is one hell of an expensive, racism. Yes, it's all about race. They voted. Voted for racism.
What has Trump done other than funding HBCUs to make you think he's racist?
What? Oh, he funded HBCUs to a couple of $1 million. Then he took it back, and then a black woman had to put it back in. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up about him doing that. Shut the fuck up. Biden did more. Biden gave billions. Billions.
I think you just hate the guy blindly.
Do I hate? You know what? I'm not like you. I'm not going to suck on a white man's cock, okay? I ain't going to go toe and say, you know what? I got to respect him because he's our president. Oh, I'm going to respect the maggots because, you know, they're good people too. No, they're not good people. I would never bow the knee to a fucking maggot, and I would never kiss a white man's ass like that. You got me fucked up. I ain't like you. I stand 10 toes down, and I'm very much pro-black.
Not one single MAGA in this country is a good person.
Nope, because they're still with him. They're still riding with him. No, they voted for this shit. They want black and brown people out of this damn country. They don't want us to do anything but what? To get the fuck out of this damn country. That's what they fucking want. And if you don't believe me, why did they treat you like shit? They call you colored and every damn thing else, you just stick this in their fucking ass. See, I'm not like you. I can't be nothing like you. I am the very bad cop then, I guess. I can't. And if you think I'm racist, oh fucking well, kiss my black ass.
All right, gangster.
Can I tell you this, Tim?
Real quick.
You never, ever want to push back on anybody but me or another fucking person that goes 10 toes down. You laughed. You literally laughed at whatchamacallit, the idiot before me when he said about them being drug dealers. We don't know if those people were drug dealers, Tim. One of them was a fishing boat. The only reason
Gangster, hold on.
You don't know. The reason why they don't give a damn is because they're brown fucking people. They don't give a fuck if there's brown people. But if there's white people, they'll be fucking having a fucking fit. But there's brown people, and they came from a poor-ass country. We don't even know. And if you want to get technical, get your damn druggies out the damn streets in. If you want, it's the white tea people that are the most strung out on dope. Here, okay? Do something about that. Go put them in rehab. Quit blaming the brown people for your fucking drug addicts.
I'll leave it at that. Appreciate it, Gangsta Grandma. I do want to say, now she pointed out, by the way, the Galaxy there, appreciate that. Thank you very much, Anthony. I think that was, I believe that was who sent that. Or no, it was, appreciate it, whatever. Anyway, I did want to say, she said that I don't push back on the right and I push back on people like her. She said I only laugh at people on the right. Well, if I'm pushing back, that means I'm giving your your argument, so to speak, your point of view, credibility enough to engage with you in the conversation and push back with my point. If I'm laughing at you, I believe what you said is crazy as hell and not even worthy of pushing back. So understand that if I'm pushing back, you're in a higher position than somebody I'm simply laughing at. If I'm laughing, it's because I think what you just said is so ridiculous, I don't even have an answer for it. So I don't know if she realized that. But anyway, moving on with the show. Okay, I'm not going to be pronounced this. Ophthalmolico? I'm assuming you mean you're an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmolico. I'm not going to pronounce that right, but thank you for the support. It says centrist, left-leaning for fairness. My MAGA co-workers and I debate respectively. No hate for Trump, but both sides ignore what matters, and that is affordability, is what my caller is saying. Well, I don't know. Listen. My stance on it is, if there are reasons to vote for MAGA or vote Republican, and then there's legitimate reasons to vote Democrat. And I believe a lot of it applies. A lot of it basically revolves around what your principles are and how your finances are. I believe that the lower half of society, if you're voting economically, you're voting based on finances. If you're among the lower half of society, in my opinion, some of you are going to disagree. In my opinion, you should be voting Democrat. If you are in the upper echelons of society financially, and finances matter, just like finances matter to the low side, if you're on the high end, you should be voting Republican. What do I mean? Let's say you're a small business owner, or even you own a mid-size or a big business. You don't want to be forced to allow your employees to unionize. You don't want somebody trying to force a higher minimum wage where you got to pay your employees more, or trying to force you to give them health care. If you don't want somebody trying to force you on how to spend your money as a business owner, or forcing you to do things for your employees, you should be voting Republican. They're not going to do that. Now, that's from the employer standpoint. From the employee standpoint, who tends to have less, if you do want to unionize, you do want your employer to give you a higher minimum wage. You do want them to contribute to your 401k, or you want them to give you better working conditions. You should be voting Democrat, because the Republicans believe in less regulations and they're not going to enforce your employers to do that. The Democrats are. So that's why I'm suggesting, if you're on the lower end of the scale financially. Now, there are reasons for a person. There are other things that are out there, obviously, but we're just talking finances right now. I believe the lower half should be voting Democrat. The upper half should be voting Republican. And I think there's a legitimate reason to do that. Now, obviously, there are other things. You're pro-life, pro-Christianity. All that stuff comes into play. How you feel about immigrants is another one. Some people vote solely based on that. You got people who are in their retirement age, and they're voting solely based on protecting the life of the unborn. 65 years old, you've had all your children, you're never going to have children again, but you don't favor allowing a woman to have an abortion. So you're voting based on that. There are people who do that. There are people who vote based on those kind of issues. That's a different category. Obviously, if you're pro-life, you should vote Republican. You're pro-choice, you should vote Democrat. So there are legitimate reasons to vote for both sides. That's why I kind of push back when my callers all suggest that if you're voting for Trump, you're a racist and you're voting for racism. There's other reasons out there. There are other parts of the Democratic Party that people on the right just don't see as favorable to this country. They just don't see things that the Democrats are doing as something they can get behind. Boost Coyote, Tim, I demand you show us a picture of this lady. I don't force the guests to show pictures, Boost. Unfortunately, I don't do that. I would like for everybody to come up and show a picture. I don't want people saying all kinds of horrible shit and hiding behind a photo of a cat or a dog or something. I prefer they all show their pictures, but we don't force people to do that. We want to hear from folks in an uncensored format, so we let the people speak. So that's kind of how the program runs. So, and I see Marguerite says she's white. Gangsta, you are shit, says Alba. Okay, well, anyway, folks, I think my guests are returning back, so I got to run. Catch you guys later. And thank you for tuning in on my YouTube side.